the Jerry Springer Too Hot for TV 2?
Yes.
It was good.
I told you I saw the first Jerry Springer uncensored video or tape or whatever it was, and it was great.
It was funny. I laughed my ass off.
You see longer fights, and you hear all the words.
That's
and
what that show should
be. Flashing.
Oh, longer fights. That sounds great.
Jerry should do that show on HBO. As we should.
Show you everything.
Hey, I'm putting together an uncensored tape. And it's a lot of work. You know, I thought it was going to be easy, but evidently John Reiber's putting it together, and he says it's a lot of work.
Well, apparently so, because it took Jerry a couple of years between tapes to get the second one out.
I don't believe it.
I'll tell you something. You know who's making a fortune? I did an appearance at a DVD store on Saturday. Every single person in the store had the Osbournes.
Really?
Is that right?
I mean, everybody. It was listed as their #1 DVD. But
wow.
Every person in the store picked that thing up.
No kidding. I have a copy. I haven't watched it yet.
I haven't either.
Jesus, that thing's a gold mine. I wish I had done something about them when I had them on all those years. Nobody wanted them on. I used to have Sharon on all the time.
But it's also that you used to say, man, your family is a television show.
Yeah. I said, you don't even have to do anything. Just put a camera on you guys. Smart.
You put the whole thing together.
Another great idea I had.
There's a weird thing with you.
It does make me crazy.
It's a weird thing with you. When you say something, people think it's stupid. And when an outsider says the same thing, it's somehow more intelligent.
I know. Exactly.
But I think at first Sharon thought it was nutty. But Howard kept saying it every time he saw her. And finally she said, he's right.
Yeah, and also MTV heard the idea and thought it was a good one.
Yeah, but I mean, Sharon was open to the idea at that point because she had heard it so many times.
Well, what can I tell you? Easy come, easy go with these ideas. Some of them you let go, some of them you sue over. When it's too direct a rip-off, The only reason I didn't, it's not like I had that on the air, the Osbournes, and someone took it from me.
You never did anything with it. You never said, look, I really want to do this. Let's get into a partnership or anything. You never said that.
So I'm okay with it for some reason. But this other idea that was recently ripped off from me is
ours.
It's an exact duplicate of what I do.
Yeah, that was what we do.
And I had it sold, and now I don't. So what am I going to do? Anyway, so John did I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
Yes.
Which he just got back from.
A week late.
But Gary was out in L.A. What were you doing?
I took 30 listeners to the Jimmy Kimmel Show.
Right.
Now, what was that all about?
We did a contest, remember?
Yeah, they did a contest, and Gary...
Was it for the show?
When the show was first going on the week before, we every city, or a lot of cities that were syndicated to, gave away a trip to go out with me to see Jimmy's show.
Right.
So this was us finally doing it.
So you took them, and what happened?
Well, it's interesting. First of all, I think the show's really funny. I'd never really watched it before. But I met Jimmy's entire family. I met Jim Kimmel, his dad. I met Judy Kimmel. All sweet people. A couple of uncles, a boatload of cousins. They probably had like 20 relatives in town.
Right.
And it was funny that his uncle was the announcer for the show.
Right.
And it's just funny, like, I went to, they have dinner there, right? Wolfgang Puck cooks this big dinner for everybody.
What do you mean, at the show?
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, you go into a big room.
You gotta be kidding me.
And there's just tables laid out.
And this is before the show goes on?
Yeah, I went to rehearsal.
You believe the money?
That is in television.
Yeah. I went to the rehearsal, and then Jimmy said, hey, why don't you stay for dinner? Wolfgang Puck cooks every night. I'm like, great.
Oh, my God.
I had nowhere to go.
I can't get a cup of coffee here.
I know.
Tom walks in like a hero, and he brings a piece of fruit.
And he brings it himself. He's the general manager. He's supposed to be running the station.
Yeah. TV's a whole different world.
It really is. They have a ton of money. So Jimmy was so excited.
Not when they steal your ideas, though. Yeah.
So you could see Jimmy was really excited that his family was in town.
Right.
So they have all these long tables. So Jimmy goes over to one of the tables where like two people are sitting, and he says, excuse me, my family's here. Do you mind if we sit here?
Do you believe that Wolfgang Puck cooks for that show?
I don't know that he comes in personally.
No, but I'm just saying.
He's ordering it, yeah.
Like two big tables?
No, Howard. There's more. There's probably about 20 tables that you can put
in a big room.
And 10 people apiece at. They're just long tables.
Unfriggin' believable.
And I got to tell you, the food was amazing.
Really? What did they have?
It was like a Chinese motif that night. So it was like peanut noodles, spare ribs. There was some special chicken.
And that wasn't a special night. This is every night.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wolfgang Puck cooked for Gary. Paul McCartney had to ask for water when he was in here.
Yeah, we didn't have water.
Paul McCartney, one of the Beatles.
It's so embarrassing. People always say to me, where's...
You know, Jimmy averages 1.9 million viewers. Bill Maher averaged at 2.1. And he's getting Wolfgang Puck. Wolfgang Puck. God damn it.
In fact, that was a dinner.
I just want a friggin' bagel.
That was a
for
dinner.
my guests, not even for me. I'll buy my own breakfast.
You want a snack, well?
Damn. Wolfgang Puck. That guy's like one of the top chefs in the world.
Absolutely.
I get 1.9 million listeners in one city. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, television knows how to work it. For some reason, and they know how to treat their people, too.
I'll tell you, though, Jimmy gets no respect at all because I got there early. I wasn't supposed to be there till like 7:30, but I was in town, so I know the producer, so I decided to go over just to say hello.
Yeah.
So I thought they did it at the Kodak Theater, which they don't. They do it at this place called the
Chevy Chase Theater.
The El Capitan, which is right across the street.
They do it at the Chevy Chase Theater.
Yeah, so I'm walking around, and I start going, even over like the security guards. I go, where's the Jimmy Kimmel show? Where are the offices? They go, who? And I go, Jimmy Kimmel. Okay, so granted, I'm not in the area. I'm across the street.
Right.
So finally, I figure it's at the El Capitan Theater. You go there, the marquee, it's a movie theater. It's hard to explain, but it's a movie theater, and the Jimmy studio is sort of next to it. So they won't even let Jimmy put his name on the marquee.
Why?
I don't know why. So when you go there, it's the El Capitan Theater, and then it's Bringing Down the House is on the marquee. So I had to go up to the ticket taker and ask where the Jimmy Kimmel offices were.
Well, thank God.
And like, you go through that alley. And
yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah,
it's a brand new show. It hasn't done anything yet.
But you want to put the name on the marquee. You don't
it's a movie theater.
It's a movie theater. You want? I guarantee you Steve Martin's bringing in more people.
He put a $31 million.
Friggin' kidding me. Wolfgang Puck.
You're fascinated with that.
Fascinated. Completely sidetracked by that. Can't get off it. End the show. I got to leave.
And it's Howard, I want you to know that everyone on the show is fed from, the crew, the audience coordinator, to the guy that pulls cable, to the cameraman, to Jimmy's family. And anybody else is walking by, like me.
Almost worth going out there just for dinner.
Yeah, just stop by Jimmy's for food.
You better keep that gravy train going. It doesn't get any better than that. You bring a bag back for me?
No, I'm sorry.
What's the matter with you?
I tell you, Jimmy's in
I tell you, that's amazing what you're telling me. It's amazing what you're telling me. I mean, yeah.
That's television.
Yeah, Robin's right. On the Norm show, it was like Thanksgiving dinner every
night.
Every day. We'd be eating cheeseburgers, and there'd be a woman going, I got biscuits in the oven, so don't fill up on that.
Okay.
There was dessert.
Don't fill up.
I swear to God, she told me not to fill up.
You're kidding. Don't worry, there's plenty of room in this bottomless pit. Anyway, go ahead, yeah, So
anyway, we're at this big dinner, so Jimmy walks over to the table, and he says to two guys like that, a cameraman or something, hey, do you mind, my family's in town, could I use the table? So they get up and leave, and Jimmy starts bussing the table.
Yeah, good.
He
hasn't forgotten.
He hasn't. But
if he keeps up with the 1.9, he's going to...
He's not.
I got to tell you,
he's going to be busting tables.
I got to tell you, A, I thought the show was really funny, and B, the people that are on there, like, there's no... Like, nobody's walking around like it's doom and gloom. I mean, everyone's walking around like it's perfectly fine, and I think it will be at some point.
Good. Hey, listen, I wish him well. I wish him very, very well. I think he's a good guy.
I tuned in, like I always tape it so I can see if something, if I hear something that I wanted to see, and I know that his girlfriend was the co-host.
Yeah, I saw Sarah also.
Did they ever reference that?
They didn't reference it when I was there. She was sat on the couch, and she didn't talk much, but she did a pre-recorded piece that I thought was a riot.
How's she look?
She looks good.
Yeah.
She's cute.
Any the better for banging Jimmy?
I don't think Jimmy made her any better or worse. She went out on the street and she was trying to give reparations to black people for slavery.
Yeah.
And she was like trying to hand them like lava lamps and, cookies and crackers and stuff.
It's insulting to black people.
It was funny.
Black people don't eat her handouts.
It was funny.
You know what? I wish she'd go do that in Roosevelt. They would take her, throw her into a wall. And
yeah, she's doing it right outside El Capitan.
Here's your reparations, a nice pregnancy.
She had the greatest opening line in her bit.
She's messing with fire there.
No,
she probably grew up in a lily white neighborhood. That bitch.
She's very Jewish.
She's very Jewish.
I think her sister's around.
Yeah, well, tell her she better not play with fire. There's a few brothers who are going to take her, pick her up, and okay, we'll see. We'll see how funny it is.
But I did notice that when she came out after Jimmy introduced her, this one episode that I was watching. It looks very strange when he kisses her on the lips. It's like, she's too pretty.
Sort of like me at my wedding, Robin, how you've often described it. But
I kissed Beth at home.
But can I tell you what happened on the show last week?
Yeah.
They had some interesting problems on the show last week. They had Don King was the guest host for the week.
Yeah.
So one day, Don decided to bring, as a courtesy, he brought some guests. So he brought Lennox Lewis and Lennox Lewis's mother. I don't know why Lennox's mother had to be there.
Right.
So the guys on the show were saying that during the writing meeting, Jimmy's cousin Vinny, he's like a character on the show. Mm-hmm. And Vinny said, I bet I can beat Lennox Lewis in a pillow fight.
Right.
So they thought it might be a funny idea. So Lennox is out there. They bring out cousin Vinny. He starts pillow fighting with Lennox Lewis, and it starts to get weird. Yeah. Like they start really smacking each other hard.
That's funny.
But I guess at some point there was a cake that was brought out for some reason, and cousin Vinny threw the cake at Lennox Lewis and hit his mother in the head with the cake.
Oh, geez.
Lennox in the head with the cake. So when the show was done, Don King was like, all right, that's it. You guys went over the line. I'm not coming back. So then they had to think quick, so they called him and they said, you have to come back tomorrow. We're doing a tribute show to you, Don, which, of course, they wrote on the fly for Don King.
Right, that got him.
And they said they brought, like, a band and people sang songs to Don.
And that's how they got him to come back?
Yeah. Did they really need him that bad?
They said he was pretty good on the show.
Yeah.
He was very upset with them.
Well, yeah. But that's a funny bit. It was worth it. Hitting Lennox Lewis's mother in the head with cake.
And they said, like, at one point, Lennox got up to pillow fight the guy, and he slipped on the cake. They said, like, he could have torn his leg. He, like, fell on his butt.
They're there to ruin careers.
So Jimmy was upset that he didn't have Stuttering John on his show?
I think they were weirded out.
Those late-night shows are weird. It's like, no one thinks to put Stuttering John on. So Jay has an idea. I'll put him on. Then Jimmy's all of a sudden, I'm upset.
Why didn't he come here?
Yeah,
that's what they say. Like, what do you mean, why didn't he come here? You didn't ask.
He didn't ask. I'm pretty sure John would go just about anywhere he was asked to go.
Plus, it was an ABC show.
Right.
He should have gone.
Well, that was the weird thing. I don't think Jimmy was angry. He was just sort of like, oh, that's weird that he's doing that show.
Because they probably wanted him to do it, and Jimmy said no. And then he heard Jay was doing it and said, these guys all go crazy.
I don't think they got offered, John.
Oh.
I think they got offered.
You make a call.
Leno was offered John?
Yeah, I do.
By who?
By ABC.
So why didn't they get...
Yeah,
so why didn't they put him on the next night? Yeah.
What?
Leno wasn't offered me.
You called?
No, he called.
He called you?
Yeah, he called me. He didn't. I was completely surprised. They called Susanna.
Hey, Jimmy's just react. It's just like when I used to do Letterman. Leno would call and have me on. Leno had me on because Letterman had me on. Leno's no innovator. They get upset. They just get upset. They get riled up. I said, I'll go on whoever show you want.
Yeah, I mean, John didn't call. You didn't call anybody. Why should he call Jimmy and say, let me do your show?
I like those two idiots fighting over me. Letterman and Leno. They were like, you can't do his show. You promised us first. I'm like, gee, I wish my parents fought over me like this. I never felt so loved. Letterman was out of his mind when I would go do Leno, and then Leno would be like, you just did.
You're my guy.
The last appearance you did was on Letterman, and we're going to fly you to the airport in a helicopter.
Wait a minute, what, don't you do our show anymore?
And then I got so into it, I wouldn't do either of their shows. I loved them fighting over me so much. Made me crazy. I started to think I was somebody. You start to think you're important. You could get very fooled in this show business. It's like, I'm so important, Leno and Letterman would kill each other for me.
And if your ratings went down, they would never talk to you again.
You could get so fooled in this business, you could be Arsenio Hall and decide to leave your show.
One time I was going on Leno, and Letterman had to sit down and have a meeting, figure out how to combat my appearance on Leno. So he got Rush Limbaugh on his show, and there was a whole big battle going on. It was no longer Letterman versus Leno. It was Howard Stern versus Rush Limbaugh. I was like, oh, my God.
But it can't be fooling. I mean, look at Arsenio. Arsenio thought he was such a huge star. He didn't know people wanted to talk to him because he had a television show.
Yeah, he got
He kept saying to everybody on the couch, we must work together. We must do a movie together. Then he left his show, and nobody wanted to do a movie.
They hated him. He remembered.
Hey, there's one other thing I got to tell you about the show. When you talk about how much money TV has, I completely forgot about this. They have what they call a green room, but it's not a green room for guests. It's just for their friends and family and stuff. Yeah. That's packed. And it's got a full bar, ton of great food, a pool table, a pinball machine, a couple of other games, and and I thought that those people would at some point move to the audience, but they don't. They just hang out back there and drink.
Boy, Sal, you're on the air.
Hey, Howard. I don't know what sounds worse, these bits on Kimmel or the fact that Gary's, like, doing backflips over these lame, unfunny bits.
Yeah, you know what?
Gary.
Actually, we talked about you, and Jimmy talked about how unfunny you are with your bad, lame, phony phone calls. We were talking about that for a little bit.
Talk bad, your breath smelled. You can smell from New York to L.A. You idiot. I mean, hey, Howard, if you think it's not bad enough, Gary's now whoring himself out and doing comedy shows with John.
I'm not.
Yes, you are. You're on the bill. You're doing certain comedy shows with him. It's getting so bad. You should fire all of them, Howard.
So how bad? Don't you wish you were on the bill? Isn't that what it's all about? That you can't get hired anywhere in show business? You got fired from your stockbroker job. You tried to make a comedy record. Nobody bought it. You tried to do a website. Nobody cares. You tried to get on our contest. You didn't win. Don't you want to be in show biz more than life itself and you can't break through?
No, absolutely not.
Then what is it all about?
Hey, I was able to get through the back door. Here I am, a stockbroker. I was noticed by Howard Stern. I've been on the show for 7 years. So what are you talking about? You, on the other hand...
Why don't you try to go collect the money from your plug that you didn't get last year?
You're the one who has to go around and ride Howard's coattails and now do a comedy show with Stuttering John. You're pathetic. I had enough of you. Goodbye.
I'm not sure what you're trying to start, but you didn't do it, you jerk.
All right, there is a feud that's going on, evidently.
Let me kick the crap out of him. Free.
Free charge.
Yeah. Let me beat his ass for free. I said I give it to you.
I'm up for it.
And your audience.
I'm up for it.
The problem is getting Sal into the ring. Yeah. You realize that.
Yeah.
And, we don't even have to get a whole big thing. Just put the ring right there.
Right. Do it in here.
I just beat his ass free.
You don't need a whole audience.
No, I don't need an audience.
Gary will pay for the equipment.
How about a pillow fight?
I would bare knuckle fight that idiot.
Right. I know you would.
I would punch him once, and he would hit the ground like nobody's business. Oh. He's never been hit in the face. Well, he's probably been hit in the face a lot when he was a kid.
I would love to see that.
Just let me.
You're entitled to do what you want.
Oh, yeah, why don't you just go fight him?
Why don't you go knock on his door and say, step outside?
Because for some reason when you do that, then you get into a whole legal issue.
Sign a piece of paper.
Yeah.
He's a man.
Sign this and let me kick your ass.
Yeah.
Hurry quickly. I'm very anxious.
Yeah.
You got your fist up as he's signing. Come on, man. This is about to be legal. Come on.
Well, there you go. What, you want to hear John on Leno?
Yeah, let's hear.
All right. Here's Stuttering John on Leno. You want the whole thing? How long is this, by the way?
7 minutes and something.
All right, we could listen to that. You guys all up for it?
Yeah.
I'm talking about the audience at home. There's 17 million listeners.
I think there's a bunch of horns beeping right now.
Beep your horn if you want to hear Stuttering John on Leno. Okay. Now, don't beep your horn. Okay, I have it right here on CD.
All right, my next guest appears regularly on the Howard Stern Show. He was also just on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
Jay's fake laugh.
Get me out of here.
I'm a celebrity. Get me out of here. Meanwhile, Jay, before he got the Tonight Show, was doing bad chop suey movies with chop sake movies with Asian stars. What was that movie he did?
The guy from Mr.
Miyagi.
Pat Morita.
Him and Pat Morita.
Yeah.
He was also
He's like, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here.
He was also Alan Freed's limo driver in the Alan Freed story.
Yeah.
American Hot Wax.
American Hot Wax.
Jay's career going nowhere until he stole the Tonight Show from Letterman. So, mellow out. Laughing at John's appearance. As bad as John's show was, it wasn't any worse than his movie with Mr. Miyagi.
Please welcome Stuttering John Melendez.
Why is he banging on the desk?
John, away, buddy. Good to see you. Have a seat. All right. There you are.
I haven't heard this yet, but I guess Jay has to establish for a few minutes what an idiot John is. And how Jay is superior. And then he'll get on with the interview.
What? All right, thank you.
There you are.
I can't believe I'm here.
What did he say?
I didn't know what those people were yelling.
I think they yelled out, "You're the king of our jungle."
Oh, I thought they said he was a big idiot. And Jay went, "You are." Thank you.
Thank you.
That was Susanna and her friend, by the way.
Oh, was it?
No, I don't know.
Here, Jay.
Well, it's nice to have you here. Well, you're a celebrity now.
Was Jared from Subway busy tonight, or what happened?
That's right. Boy, you catch on fast.
Can I take this off?
Take that stupid hat off, yeah.
My wife says I look good with the hat, but I don't know.
Well, we can't see your face. Let people see. There you are. There you go.
It's ridiculous.
And, it makes your hair look good, too. But, now tell me about it. You're just back from Australia. I'm a Celebrity. Get me out of here.
Yeah.
Let me be honest. When they called you, did you know you were a celebrity?
No. I always considered myself like G-list celebrities, you know what I mean? But I was flattered they called me.
Well, I mean, it is sort of, I mean, well, Howard Stern is syndicated. It's a radio show.
Yeah.
And you're one of the more popular people on the show.
Yeah.
But, I mean, when you tend to think of celebrity, you think, you know, Jennifer Lopez, Ben Affleck, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So what is this determining whether John's a celebrity?
Well, I guess he is a celebrity now.
I would think John's more of a celebrity than any of the other people who appeared on that show. I mean, John at least has a job.
He's got something to do every day.
And what's with Jay?
That exposes him.
You're not a celebrity. Well,
did you know you were a celebrity?
He's on a radio show that reaches as many people as your dumb television show does, if not more.
The weird thing about that show is John was probably the best known and the least pampered out of all those people.
So what did you think it was real? What did you think when they called you with this idea?
I just did it for the money.
I thought...
I mean, you know.
I thought all the money went to charity.
No, anything we won went to charity, but we still got our flat rate.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
know.
Well, explain the show for... How many watched it? Yeah. Explain the show.
The show is, like, you know, there's all these, again, quote-unquote celebrities.
Right.
In the jungles of Australia, and we're supposed to be roughing it, and the cameras are everywhere, including the bathroom. We're always mic'd, so any conversation we have is out there, and then we had these trials that we got to do, that we go and try and win food, because we were just, the only food they gave us was rice and beans.
I see.
And I'm Puerto Rican. I like rice and beans. I freaking hate rice and beans now.
That's it.
I was like, after the third day, I'll do anything for a meal.
Right. Oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, who was...
All right. Okay. All right.
This is, I think, the best part. This is where John starts trashing everyone else.
Oh, all right, good.
I'm goofing on them.
Some of the other celebrities on the show.
The other celebrities?
Well, I mean, ABC is a big network. They have access to major celebrities.
The gold medal winner, Bruce Jenner.
Now, that was what year?
The only reason I know he's a gold medal winner is he told me about 2,000 times that we were there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in 1976. Bruce is one of those guys, long-winded. I mean, like you ever have a guy who, like, tells you a long story, but there's a punchline at the end?
Yeah.
There's no punchline with
Oh, I see. It just kind of...
It just goes on and on. It's like watching the paint dry, but it never dries.
It's just always sticky,
Just never shuts up. He's got an ego. He's always looking at the camera, looking at his expression.
Wow. It sounds like it got testy out there on the island.
Yeah. Like I wanted to go put my hand in the thing of spiders just to get away from his conversation.
Really? All right, who were some of the other people? Melissa Rivers, wasn't she?
Melissa Rivers was there.
And she's famous because she's
Joan Rivers' daughter.
Jay hasn't heard of Melissa Rivers?
He's letting John do the joke.
Oh, I see.
Well, his premise is that none of them were celebrities.
But Bruce Jenner was a celebrity. I mean, he's not now, but he was.
You'd be shocked. I agree with you. Most people don't know who he is.
Older people know.
Bruce Jenner was huge.
Yeah.
Almost no one under 30 knows who he is.
And, she came in second, and the whole rumor was that Joan bought a phone bank that would just, keep on continuously calling to vote for her. But I think that's a lie. I think Joan just had her plastic surgeons call in, and there was enough of them.
Really? Oh, wow, man.
Jay is annoying. John's not doing bad. Jay's annoying. What is his problem?
Well, you know what I think is funny about this? Like Jay knows exactly what's going to happen. I'm sure that
they screened it already.
But Jay's in that state of confusion. Now, who is there? What happened?
They give him little cards that tell him, explain everything.
The whole thing's prompted, like he went, it sounds like things got a little testy.
What happened?
Did things get testy?
How does anybody watch any of these shows?
Well, a lot of people have found a way not to.
Yeah. I don't tape them or anything.
Wow, it sounds like a little island rage.
Well, I mean, it's 15 days with the same people.
Right.
You know everything about them.
But they're celebrities. Who are the other celebrities?
You just love saying that,
Well,
Jay.
it just makes me laugh.
The other celebrities, Alana Stewart.
Now, who is she?
I know. That's what I thought. I still think I'm the only celebrity that actually has a job.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But Alana Stewart was married to Rod Stewart and George Hamilton.
Of course. Well,
and, she just shouldn't have been there. Because she's way too high maintenance. They had a shrink on site. She saw the shrink 2 to 3 times a day. I swear to God.
What did you see him about?
And it didn't work because at one point she calls downtown Julie Brown the C word.
Ooh.
I swear to God. And then Julie Brown comes up to her and threatens to kill her. And then I always say, and that explains why Alana lasted a little longer, because when Rod Stewart and George Hamilton heard that she could die, that they kept calling to keep her on.
Oh, you know, if you had told this, if we had known this beforehand, more people would have watched this damn show.
It was fun. I mean, it was boring.
Yeah.
To be there for hours and hearing everyone's lives, it was boring. But it was fun in some respects.
Yeah. Now, the winner was Chris Judd.
Chris Judd was there.
And he's a celebrity because
he used to date Jennifer Lopez.
Okay, now, well, he's married to her. What are you married to?
Jay goes, and he's a celebrity because, and then John gets it wrong, and Jay corrects
He
him.
corrects him because he already knows.
He already knows.
Looking at the card.
Yeah. And he's a celebrity because, well, he dated Jennifer Lopez. No. He married her, stupid.
I like the correct.
You were supposed to say he married.
And I'm supposed to pretend I never heard of him.
We rehearsed this, you moron.
Yeah, you're
dummy.
not playing right.
You know, it was a little condescending when he said, you know, I was doing the radio show. I guess it's syndicated.
Yeah. Like Jay's
He's
more important.
about that.
And he left out the part that it's on TV every night.
Yeah.
You're going to read it.
Yeah, that's right. He did a little movie, didn't he?
I mean, syndicated, I guess. All right, syndicated.
Because I'm a nobody.
Yeah, no, how is their show now? Who is he?
Well, he was married to her for 2 years. And I'll tell you how I'm so mad at my wife, because my wife sent us a letter that they read. And it was very touching. So Chris Judd starts to cry because it's bringing him back all these memories of Jennifer.
Right.
So now I'm crying because I know by Chris crying he's guaranteed to win because he's a single guy crying over a woman. It's in the bag.
Hey, John, describe to me why you'd want to win this. Why does someone want to win? There's no incentive to win.
And I thought he said earlier he didn't cry.
Yeah. How come you cried?
My best job.
Well, I'm sorry. You're doing well, but why...
Why did you want to win?
Why did you want to win? That's the part I don't get of the game.
Because if I won, then my charity got $200,000.
But why do you care? I mean, okay, great. So what's wrong with Chris's charity getting $200,000? Someone's charity's going to win.
It's mine. It's a personal thing. You know, the guy from my charity's in a wheelchair.
But on day 10, right, when you started that...
I think it was just, and also it's a popularity thing. Everybody wants, like...
Really?
Like I didn't want to be the first one to go.
If they had made it that you got paid $1 million if you won...
Yeah.
People would have been at each other's throats.
Well, yeah.
And then when they all wanted to leave the island, we said, good, go, leave.
You know what happened? There was too much camaraderie with you guys. It should have been a contest among you guys. Like everyone
didn't care who won. Chris Judd didn't care if he won.
Oh, no, Chris Judd wanted to win.
Yeah, but he wanted to win, but if you won, so he doesn't lose anything personally.
I guess just a little face that you would like,
Whatever. It gets a lot different when there's money involved.
Yeah, I mean, you actually need to win to get money.
If there were $1 million, nobody would be coming to your Oscar party.
Don't tell me downtown Julie Brown couldn't use $1 million.
Well, she was so funny because she said that I hope I get voted off. I can't take Bruce anymore.
But the people shouldn't want to get voted off.
She jumped for joy and ran over the bridge when she got voted off.
I mean, I couldn't understand why you didn't want to get voted off. You could have lived in a luxury hotel.
Because I was having a good time.
Oh, all right.
Actually, that crazy place that they built was a luxury to John.
Right.
He lives in an apartment.
Although I did get
beer
with 10 kids and a wife and a dog.
I did get my ass bitten by a leech.
Yeah.
A huge. You should see the thing on my ass. It's a big bite.
Didn't Julie Brown say though before she did that challenge that I'll go in the vat of leeches as long as it doesn't scar me.
And she still got, in fact, that she's very upset with the show. I don't know what's going to happen, but it looks
because the leech bites are still there.
Yeah.
They haven't gone away.
They haven't gone away.
Will they not go away?
They're supposed to, but they still haven't. And Howard, if you saw her leg, close up, it was really, really brutal.
It's only been a week.
That's true.
Yeah, it'll go away.
She actually showed me, and it was right by her crotch. When
those leeches were sucking on her crotch.
Yeah, they all went right there.
Yeah, they went right by her butt.
Oh, yeah.
And her vag.
They were actually nibbling on her taint.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's weird.
How about the permanent leech mark she's living on her millionaire husband?
Oh, my.
When's he going to sue over that?
He said as long as he wasn't scarred.
She has $1.5 million house, and I assumed it was her husband paid. She said she paid it for it.
Really?
Right, yeah.
With what?
How did she make money?
Apparently made a lot of money from MTV. She said she always hears you say that MTV doesn't pay, but she did get paid a lot.
I don't believe it.
Her best year, I would guarantee you, couldn't have been more than 150 grand.
It was.
More than $1 million a year?
Not more than $1 million, but I'm pretty sure it was somewhere in the $500,000 a year bulk.
Really?
That's what
I'm shocked.
It was a show of leeches. Chris Judd, Robin Leach.
What, Robin Leach is famous. I mean, he is from Lifestyles and the Rich and Famous.
Yeah, but he hasn't been around in a while.
Well,
I think he's sort of semi-retired, isn't
Yeah.
he? He was the biggest.
I thought it was weird that ABC banked their schedule on, the Stuttering John Melendez show. I mean, they did think it was weird.
Well, Robin was the thing I didn't understand, because he's a multi-millionaire. I'm like, why are you here?
That's the point. You know what? He's so desperate to be on TV. I get why you were there. They paid you $100 grand. You needed it.
Bruce Jenner doesn't need the money.
I don't know.
And he wants to be on TV.
And Melissa Rivers was bitching because she doesn't need the money.
And I got to tell you something. From what I hear, and I don't know whether it's true or not, I'm not sure that Chris Judd needs the money.
No, he's got $5 million from J-Lo.
I heard it was 7.
Yeah, I heard it was 10.
So my point is, these guys are just desperate to be on TV.
Well, Chris Judd wants to be an actor and a director, so I can.
How's that going to help? Making an idiot out of himself.
Going inside the actor studio, and that's
go to acting class.
Yeah, this will be one of the if he ever makes it, this will be one of the embarrassing things he did before he made it.
Right. When he goes on Jay Leno in 10 years, when he's a great director, if that ever happens, this is the clip they'll show to mock him.
I like the people who go on the dating shows because they want to get a start in acting.
Or Joe Millionaire.
Remember that chick from Joe Millionaire we had in here, the runner-up? Sarah, who did the tickling foot video, and I said to her, why don't you just go on Playboy? And she goes, I would never do that.
I know, I've read that.
She announced today she's doing Playboy.
She ain't even that hot.
No.
But you know what? She said that she turned down $1 million to get completely naked.
That, I believe, is a huge lie.
And she said she's getting $500,000 to be topless.
Just to be topless.
I would bet the farm she's not getting $500,000.
I'll bet she's getting not even $100 grand. $1 million is a lot of money. They pay that to big names.
Who cares about seeing her naked?
She's a runner-up.
Yeah, why would you have to give her $1 million?
I'd rather see Chris Judd naked.
Well, that's you. I think you were falling in love with him.
Yeah, what does that mean?
He's a great guy, though. He's coming to my party. You coming?
Great. Yeah, sure, I'm coming.
Oh, good.
Why wouldn't I come?
It's a Sunday night.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, but it starts early. It's like 6 o'clock.
No, I'm not going. Not on a Sunday night, no.
Are any of the celebrities coming to your beach party?
Yeah. I think, Robin Leach is flying in for it.
Robin Leach.
We're from Connecticut.
Chris Judd can go to your party on a Sunday night. You don't have to get up and work the next morning. I do.
He go to your party Sunday through Sunday.
Well, if it's interesting, we're all going to put in like $50.
Wow.
And then whoever
it's a pot?
Yeah, whoever gets the most right.
You're running.
So
it's like a gay Super Bowl party.
Yeah, it's a little fruity. I mean.
Oh, he's in show business now.
Yeah, he's got all the celebrity friends.
I just like the party.
Right. Good.
Is Nikki Ziering coming to your party?
No, she's in L.A.
John,
she's not in love with you? I think John goes, Nikki Ziering's in love with me. If I wasn't married, she told me she'd be all over me. I go,
Howard, even when we were at the after party, she said that, right in front of my wife.
Right, but she hasn't
right
seen
in front of your wife.
Oh, she didn't say it to you alone in a room.
Right. When she posted in a closet, tells her that
Nikki Ziering's sister was at the after party.
Yeah.
And her sister doesn't look like Nikki.
Right.
We talked about that. She's a very big woman. She looks like me.
So Nikki goes. So Nikki starts to like drift away from her, and the sister's trying to find you. Sister goes, Nikki, please, don't lose me here. And Nikki goes, but I'm definitely going to lose you.
I can stay with you all the time. Even
come on.
For me.
But Nikki, like I was the whole time I was there when Tyson got voted off and then Nikki got voted off. I thought for sure.
And who was Tyson screwing around with?
We don't know.
Oh.
We don't know. But I thought for sure he'd be banging Nikki, but apparently it didn't happen.
So who was banging Nikki?
There's a lot of rumors going around, but
who?
What are you afraid of ruining friendships?
No.
Did Robin Leach bang her?
No.
No way.
Let's just say that at the after party.
Who else was there?
Everybody was there. Then Chris Judd showed up, and 5 minutes later, Nikki showed up with a big smile on her face. And I said to Nikki, so were you and Chris fooling around? And she goes, who told you?
John goes, the old 5-minute trick. Nobody sees through that.
Yeah. They just happened to be 5 minutes apart.
Wow.
So I'm guessing that they, had a little thing.
They probably did.
John, how long before you offer Chris Judd my Yankee tickets?
But it was the whole thing with Jenner. Oh, did you see what happened with Bruce? Bruce Jenner. Right in front of Bruce has no idea what's going on. He starts telling Chris Judd how his son is so good looking he looks just like Ben Affleck. Just like Ben Affleck.
Oh, that's
the best.
Are you kidding?
That's great.
And he
right.
Sorry.
Right.
You know, are you an a-hole? And Bruce Jenner is oblivious to it.
Bruce walked away, never knew what happened.
No,
and then John's consoling Chris because I'm sure he didn't know what he said.
I got another son that looks like...
He doesn't think about anyone else but himself.
No,
is Bruce Jenner's face as scary in person as it is on TV?
Well, he admitted to me. I finally said, Bruce, I got to ask you. Because he asked me, well, what would you ask me? I said, did you get a nose job? He goes, yeah, I got a nose job. I said, but man, you cut the whole thing off.
What did he say?
He goes, yeah, I didn't like the way it pointed, and it didn't look good. I go, what else?
What else has he done?
He goes, 18 years ago, I had a nose job.
Yeah.
18 years, I took the tip off.
So I said, so what else did you have done? He goes, nothing. I go, come on. And he goes, all right, I had Botox once.
Once? Had a facelift. His eyebrows are like a woman's, too. What does he sculpt his eyebrows?
Botox wears off after a certain time. You have to keep doing it.
He looks like a tranny. He does.
Well, like someone said to me, like, wasn't there a rumor that he wanted to get something chopped off? I said, I never heard about that. But then when I'm looking at his face, I'm looking at his face and I'm looking at his ear and I'm focusing on some stuff on his ear. And then Julius Brown's looking at me and going...
What does that mean? Facelift?
Yeah, well, that's what she was thinking. But Bruce said that he didn't get anything else done besides his nose. That's impossible.
He's in Michael Jackson territory lying.
He is.
But... you should have Bruce on, and he's willing to talk about this. He has great O.J. stuff, because they were real good friends with Nicole.
And what does he have to say?
And she called them the day before the murder.
Well, his wife actually testified at the trial because she was such a good friend of the wife's, and she knew about a lot of the...
Let me get this right. Master Detective Bruce Jenner thinks O.J.'s guilty?
No, he won't. No, he pretty definitely... But
well, of course.
But he's got great stories.
What has he got?
Like, he even has an idea of where the knife and the clothes are hidden.
Why wouldn't he say where it is?
No, he did. He said it on the show. I don't know if they aired it.
Where is it?
All right.
Not that I know.
Nobody was watching.
They didn't air it. They didn't air that. They aired when he was bathing instead.
Bruce?
They didn't air the O.J. revelation. They aired him washing his hair.
Right. Bruce says...
Okay, apparently because, Bruce's wife was Robert Kardashian's wife. I don't know if you know that.
No.
Okay, so Kardashian had to pick O.J. up from the airport because O.J. couldn't go home because the cops were all at O.J.'s house. So O.J. forgets his golf clubs at the airport and is freaking out about his golf clubs. So O.J. made them drive back to the airport to get the golf clubs. So they do that. Okay, so O.J. stays over at Kardashian's house, and the golf clubs are in the trunk of the car in the garage. 2 o'clock in the morning, Kardashian suddenly hears O.J. in the garage. And apparently he takes the golf clubs and starts walking out of the house at 2 in the morning somewhere, and is gone for about an hour or two with the golf clubs. So I guess they're saying that they think that the knife and everything was in the golf clubs, and that O.J. dropped it off somewhere by Kardashian's house. And that was the whole. And then in the trial, when O.J. showed the golf clubs that were his golf clubs, they weren't his golf clubs. They were somebody else's. And it wasn't even his golf clubs that he showed it.
Why don't you reopen this case, John?
John, you ought to reopen it.
But I mean, he was saying all this, and how Nicole called him and said that she thinks O.J. was going to kill her, and O.J. told her.
This is just Bruce Jenner trying to be relevant. I mean, Bruce Jenner sits around all day thinking about O.J. stories. You know what I mean?
Making it up.
You even know. I mean, it's like, what world does he live in? What's the difference? O.J.'s free.
But it's really interesting stuff that if you wanted to, because they were really good friends with him.
You were on an island trapped. It's not interesting.
Oh, really?
You, it's interesting because you're sitting on an island.
This was your television.
Do you think he'd take your call now?
It was the only...
Bruce Jenner will take your call?
Sure.
Even though you were goofing on him and stuff, you think he'd be cool about that?
Yeah.
Call him right now.
I'm sure he would come on.
Did you guys all exchange numbers at the party afterwards and stuff?
I got everyone's number.
Like Melissa Rivers now?
Yeah.
She friendly with you?
Yeah, she was actually pretty cool on there. I mean, she was a little controlling with the cigarettes.
Yeah, John's biggest complaint was that they all got 10 cigarettes a day, and Melissa controlled them.
Yeah, like she took the 30 and then gave.
Why does she get to do that?
That was the one thing I said. Can I please have my own cigarettes?
Yeah, why do you get to control?
I felt like Martini from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, because I'm like, I want my cigarettes, because it was the only 10 the only vice I could do. I had no pot, I had no beer.
What else did you have on your island?
Did he give you any pot?
No.
Well, nobody was controlling the pot?
I had no weapons.
John, did you bring anything else with you on the island?
what do you mean? Yeah. I had my Xanax so in case I had a panic attack.
Right.
We thought you were drugged early on, by the way.
You were taking Xanax.
You took them, didn't you?
Because you looked like you were on drugs.
I only took it one night when...
Was it the first night?
It was the night when I was freezing. I was in my underwear.
Yeah, the first night.
It was the second...
Oh,
it was the second
night we saw you.
The second night.
You looked like you were high as a kite.
It was the night of the Aborigines when and I slept. No, it wasn't that night. It was the third. It was like the night after. I just had to because they were all arguing and I was just like... and I was freezing.
Did you pleasure yourself out there?
No, I didn't even have a horny thought. Although finally I had some weird dream and I had a nocturnal emission.
You did?
Yeah.
You did, John?
Yeah.
How old are you?
Because, I couldn't pleasure myself. So
what'd you dream about, Nikki?
Yeah.
I was getting...
Nikki's ass?
No, I was getting...
Or Tyson's ass?
I was getting oral from an Asian girl, but,
That was Bruce Jenner.
But there's, so I had to walk around with that in my pants for the whole day.
Wow.
Well, you didn't give you a change of underwear?
No, but they were all wet. I had no clean underwear.
We might have to do a I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here reunion show right here.
Well, that's the thing. Well, if they have a reunion show, it's another...
They're not having any reunion show.
But it's another bunch of money if they did.
Yeah, but they're not going to have a reunion show of a show that consistently came in fourth and fifth.
Right, John, please.
But apparently it did better.
I think you should have gone on there and been wild. I mean, like you didn't... The point wasn't to win. You should have just... I
farted on Melissa Rivers.
You did?
Oh, you didn't see that?
No.
I just went up to her when she was talking to somebody and just...
Once.
Yeah, then Bruce Jenner farted on you. I mean, it was... I thought the whole thing was... I asked John, were they mad at you? Because I thought they hired a guy...
You're really trying to be their friend. I thought you were going to mix it up.
You should have been goofing on that host constantly, man.
He was such a huge fan of the show. How could I? He telling me that he loved the show. He loved you. He'd been listening to you for 10 years.
Whatever.
Hey, Howard, do you want to hear the story about how me and John and Downtown Julie Brown tried to watch John on The Tonight Show?
What was that?
Well, so I hooked up with John about 11:15. I didn't even know he was in town, in Los Angeles. So we get to this bar, Trader Vic's, and we're sitting there. John goes, "Come on, let's all go up to my room and watch a show."
Let's go watch me.
So I'm like, okay.
No, my wife.
Let's go watch me be a celebrity.
You don't even tell it honestly. My wife was like anal about it.
No, you wanted to watch it too, John. But it's fine. It's okay. I would want to watch it if it were me. I'm not putting you down for it. So we all pile into John's room.
Let's go to my room and watch me.
And then you can all, and then you can all tell me how good I am.
So it's John and Susanna, Julie Brown and her husband. Susanna.
What's the husband like?
He's very quiet. I said two words the whole night.
Is he a handsome guy?
Yeah.
He's a pretty good-looking guy.
Well, it's funny because Julie, during when Tyson Beckford was having one of his crazy rants, Julie goes, "This is why I'm married to a white guy." And the white guy she's married to is German, blonde hair, blue-eyed.
Right.
So
she doesn't like black people?
No, she was just saying because Tyson was like, he would make statements like, nobody is allowed to carve anybody's initials in this log because I carved Robin Leach's and nobody could carve anything else.
Yeah, he got weird like that.
He's crazy.
My God, I can't wait for the reunion show.
Wasn't he some kind of homeless guy and they found him?
They found him sitting in the park. I don't know how homeless he was, but he was just hanging around Central Park or something when he was discovered.
He had a very, very odd connection to Robin Leach. I mean, when
he cried when Robin got voted off, he cried.
Yeah, he cried. And then when he got reunited with Robin, he cried and he hugged him. And he said, I would do anything for this man. But when Robin got voted off, he was so upset, he carved RL into a log. And then no one else was allowed to.
Wasn't he jealous when Chris Judd started to become friendly with Robin Leach?
Bruce Jenner.
Yeah, that's what my wife said it looked like.
That didn't look like it was.
It was a little very strange.
But he started crying when Robin left, and I was just like, this is getting really weird because, Robin didn't die. He's at a hotel.
Days. Yeah.
You can see him in 11 days.
Yeah. You'll be able to hang with him.
Yeah. So anyway, we're at the bar, the whole bunch of us, and John goes, let's go upstairs and watch a show. So we all pile into John's room, which is not a huge room. It's probably like, I don't know, about 10 or 12 of us.
Well, the Tonight Show put me up at the Beverly Hilton.
Okay.
So it's like 10 or 12 of us. So we turn on the TV, and I know that, everyone's like, what channel is it? I know that in L.A. it's Channel 4, just like here. So it's on Channel 8. Hit the button, go down to 7, see a picture, 6, see a picture, 5, see a picture. Get to Channel 4, screen's completely black, nothing but audio, right? And it says on the top, it says NBC. So we're like, what's wrong?
Why is that?
We don't know. There was something wrong with the satellite or cable system in that area.
It's my luck.
So we start trying to call, play with the TV, nothing's going on. Next thing you know, I hear Julie Brown on the phone just going, hello, we're up in this room and we can't get Channel 4. You can hear her a mile away. So she's calling down to them. They said, yes, sometimes the channel goes out. It happens from time to time. So then she calls the bar, Trader Vic's. Hello, this is Julie Brown. We were just in with a large party and spent a lot of money. So she was trying to see if they had it. And they couldn't understand English.
What does that mean anyway? What is she going to... You mean Trader Vic's is because she ate dinner there now has to turn their place into a lounge? I think
they were trying to get she was trying to get their attention. So then they make a bunch more calls to the whole hotel, and they find out that...
At least she gave Julie Brown something to do.
It's on down in the pool area. If we go down to the pool, we can watch a show. So we all, rush out of the room, rush into the elevator. We go down to the pool. They had a technician there from the hotel, like one of those, fix-it guys.
Yeah.
Turns on the TV. There is, in fact, a picture on Channel 4. It's CNN.
Oh.
So I guess they put it on because Channel 4 was out. They wanted to fill it so that it wasn't black.
Right.
So now we have 6 minutes to go. Catherine Zeta-Jones on. We have 6 minutes to try.
Did you meet her, Catherine Zeta-Jones?
Yeah, she was really
nice. Was she nice?
Yeah.
Everyone's nice.
She was really pregnant.
I know, she's gross.
So Julie Brown turns around to me and she says, would you run over to Trader Vic's, which is not a hike away, but I had to run a little bit. She goes, would you run over there and see if you can get it on the TV down there?
And who'd she say that to?
Me.
You?
She said, would somebody go?
No, Gary volunteered.
I volunteered. She said, would somebody go? And I said, I'll go.
Boy, it sounds like Julie Brown was all excited. She was on a mission.
Well, she was trying to help John.
Gave her something to do.
They're pals. No doubt. Yeah. So I run over to the bar.
You would really like her if you hung out with her.
I know. I like everyone. You should see how well I get along with everyone. It's an amazing life I have.
I run over to the bar.
Everyone's my friend.
I run over to the bar. The guys that run it are Asian. Half of them don't understand English. I'm talking. Finally, I just grab the remote. I turn on Channel 4. It's CNN. So I call on the cell phone now from this bar to tell them we can't get it here either. So now it's like a minute before it starts. So I would have
gotten along with Julie Brown when she was single and about 15 years ago. That's when I would have gotten along with Julie Brown.
Well, you know what's funny? Brian, who works on our show, he worked with her twice. Once when she was at the height of her fame, and he said she was the biggest C-word he ever dealt with.
Right.
And once when she was at the bottom of her fame, he said she was the greatest person he ever met.
Yeah. Big difference when she's not hot. Now no one even pay attention to her. How's she look with makeup on? Can she clean up a little?
She looked better.
She looked good. And her body's still nice.
Yeah.
So she got big...
Except for those leech marks.
How you got to get around the leeches?
So finally, I'm at the bar, and I said, listen, I'm just going to hang at the bar. You guys... And our friend said, yeah, we'll be down in a few minutes. Wait, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. I was just getting ready to grab a cab back to my hotel, and these guys walked in, and I guess they went to another bar. They got a cab, found a bar where it was on. Unfortunately, the bar was so loud they couldn't hear the sound.
So
they watched John, and they read it on the bottom of the screen in closed caption.
There you go.
So I still haven't seen it.
Shame.
At least you heard it. You saw the pictures, now you've heard it.
Right. Okay, we got to take a break. I never got to hear the end of your Jay Leno appearance, but did I miss much?
I talked about Bruce a little bit more, and then I just, said I didn't have Jay Leno money because he kept asking me, why I would do such a stupid show. And I just kept saying, well, you're rich and I'm not.
Ask him, you should have said to him, why did you do those dumb movies with Pat Morita? Shut him up.
John had a great line. He goes, I don't have Jay Leno money. He goes, in fact, I don't even have Kevin Eubanks money.
Oh, hey, but why did Jay all those years do all those horrible projects?
Yeah, he could have said, remember, Jay, what you do. When you don't have this kind of money, you wind up in a movie with Pat Morita.
Jay had money. From stand-up,
right.
and he was still doing movies with Pat Morita.
Stuff like that.
And what about him going, it's a radio show, it's syndicated, I guess. I mean, we do a lot of the bits from the show on here. But
yeah, why didn't you say that? That's where we get a lot of my jaywalking material.
Yeah, I guess some of the writers watch it.
I'm inspired by that show.
Yeah.
And apparently, a lot of things we do here.
Yeah, I mean, I like to put it on television because it's a radio show.
But I don't understand the Jimmy Kimmel thing, though. Jimmy said something?
No, they just thought it was weird. They weren't angry or anything. They just thought it was weird that you were on. They were wondering why you wouldn't be on their show.
But they never
Because Jay called them.
Yeah, but they never even called.
Of course.
They never figured that out.
But see, no, I think what happened was they were offered someone else from the show, and it wasn't you. Do you follow what I'm saying? So
all right, I got to take a break. No one cares. All right. John, congratulations on your Tonight Show. We'll be back right after these words.
Tonight, it might come as a surprise, maybe not, that New Jersey is naming a rest stop in his honor. It all began with a campaign promise by the then gubernatorial candidate, Christine Todd Whitman. Norma Shonick has the story.
Governor Whitman says she's making good on another campaign promise. During an early morning visit to the controversial Howard Stern radio show, Whitman told the shock jock she planned to name a rest area on Route 295 in Burlington County in his honor. Stern wanted one on the turnpike, but that wasn't possible.
This is the first rest stop on the southbound area that we are dedicating to Howard Stern.
Ooh.
This is going to
look like.
Look at that.
Because 295 is an interstate highway, technically New Jersey doesn't have the right to name this rest stop. So what the governor plans to do is to put a plaque here honoring Howard Stern.
He certainly went out of his way to endorse me during the campaign. We talked about this. I said we'd do it. We'd put a plaque up at this particular rest stop, and I really don't think it's a major issue.
This is what the plaque would look like. Now, if the state should honor a man many consider vulgar and racist.
Come on, let's not get ridiculous about this. It's not giving him a state sanction any more than George Pataki's appointing him as a commissioner to a highway or a road commission at $1 a year does.
Stern, of course, has legions of fans.
Well known, and I think he ought to have something better than a truck stop named after him.
But not everyone believes he deserves such an honor.
I think you should have a toilet named after him.
Think this is kind of appropriate or what?
For him, I guess. Truck stop fits.
Why?
For him. Because he's scum.
If this is how those who would have to stoop, then what else is she going to do?
Howard Stern is famous for his trash mouth and bathroom humor. He's not expected to clean that up soon, but now that his name will be identified with a rest stop, maybe he can at least clean things up here. I'm Nora Mushanek for Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
You're listening to The Howard Stern Show.
In Baltimore, we're on an FM station now. Welcome. Live 105.7 FM. Thank the Lord. 10 years in the waiting or more. I remember the first day we went on the AM station in Baltimore. Everyone said, well, it's an AM station.
But we struggled through.
Yeah. Hey, Pat, you're on the air. Go ahead, Pat. Whoops, Pat, go ahead.
Hello.
Hey, Pat.
Who's this?
Howard.
Howard. What's up, Howard? What's going on?
Hey, man.
What's going on? I met you up in, you were at, it looked like a family wedding, up in the Green Tree Country Club.
Was that the one in Westchester?
That's right.
That was last summer.
That's right. Now, I was the drunk bartender, which I never pissed in my own wedding.
That was my cousin.
I walked to the other wedding reception. I'm walking through, and I see some hot blonde, and you're standing there with her, and you're parting ways. She goes in the bathroom, and you're standing in front of me. I see the hair from the back. I met you before at Twisted Sister concert. I said, hey, is that Howard? And you keep walking. I said, hey, Howard, come on, is that you? And you turn around. You go, yeah, it's me. I said, what's up, brother? And I go to shake your hand, and you continue on to the...
F-word?
Huh?
Don't say the F-word.
No, I apologize.
We're on the radio, brother.
I didn't know I was.
So we were in the bathroom. I was about to go to the urinal, and you want to shake my hand.
I go to shake your hand, right? And you're like, you know...
What's wrong with that, homo?
Huh?
What's wrong with that, homo?
What's wrong with that, homo? Listen to me. I tell you right now.
I'm in a men's room about to handle my own penis. I don't want to touch your filthy hand and touch my penis. Are you crazy?
You got
Why don't we French kiss, you homo?
I am the biggest hung Irish man in the world, and I
don't care what you are. I don't want to kiss you or handle you in a bathroom with other men.
Listen, let me tell you something.
What part of this don't you understand?
The part I don't understand is that I go to shake your hand, and you look at me, and this is previous to touching my own person.
I don't know whether you've touched yourself yet or not. I walk into a men's room. You're there standing there. You think I want to touch a guy who's just...
And Howard,
Holy cow.
I said, Howard.
What, do I have to subject myself to every one of your germs?
Every one of my germs. Howard, I told you, and verbatim, I said, Howard, my lad.
My lad.
My lad. I washed my hair before I touched Pat Mahoney's little lad.
This guy's drunk in the bathroom.
He sounds drunk now.
I know.
Did he ever sober?
He's drunk in a men's room. I'm at my cousin's wedding.
All right?
The guy wants to shake my hand. I'm not sure whether he just finished peeing or he's about to go pee. I know I'm about to. I said to you, I don't know who you are. I don't know your history. I don't know what the hell is on your hand.
I met you at the Twisted Sister concert in 1989.
All right. So did I shake your hand then?
No, you didn't. But I said, Howard, watch out. The rabbi's coming right up behind you.
I got to go.
Nervous.
I got to go, Pat.
You got nervous.
Yeah, Pat.
Howard.
Thank you. You have no idea. It's my worst nightmare, this guy.
Howard, I was the drunk bartender come up to you and said you had to wash your lad. I had to wash your lad, and I said, Howard.
Yeah. Imagine you're in the bathroom with this guy.
Oh, my God.
I remember this guy. I was like, hey, how you doing, man? Nice to meet you. He goes, come on, let's shake hands. I go, you know what, Pat? I said, I'm about to pee. You know, I don't want to shake your hand.
Oh, what a
it was pretty obvious why. I mean, What else you want to do? You want to stare at my penis? Wacko.
So then he calls back to call you on it a year later.
You know, I had a similar thing happen to me on Saturday, Howard. This was really bad. I did this appearance at, like, a DVD store, right? So we leave. I'm on maybe 3 or 4 miles down the road, and I tell the driver, I said, listen, man, I gotta go to the bathroom. Can you just pull over at a restaurant or somewhere? Pulled over to the restaurant. I walk right in. I go right to the bathroom. Sit down. I had to make a number 2, you know?
Oy.
I'm sitting there all alone, but I'm like 4 miles away from where I was.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I hear footsteps come in, and I hear some guy go, P.U. Smells like a Baba Booey S in here.
Oh, no.
The guy, like, followed me into the bathroom. So then I walk out. He's like, man, you got a stinky doo-doo. And I'm like, can't I just go to the bathroom, man?
How come he came in to smell it?
I don't know.
Yeah, he's so happy now. He has this information.
He smelled your poop.
I was humiliated, I have to say.
I don't blame you. I would hold it in. I wouldn't care.
But he left. He went away.
Yeah, I was 4 miles away.
I don't care where you are. I don't make a duty in public, period.
I mean, you've had to from time to time.
Who?
Yes, yes.
Telling you, Robin, I don't do it.
You can't not have had enough a situation where you hadn't.
My body, I swear to you, shuts down so efficiently. Talk about mind over matter. Mind over fecal matter.
You've never, like, been sick.
No.
See, because I was thinking, like...
If I get home, I got to go right away.
See, I was thinking, like, okay, say, like, Tom Cruise, right? He gets in his car, and he's got an hour ride to wherever. He's never had to stop and go.
I guess. And maybe his body's like mine. It shuts down.
No, everybody couldn't be like you. Most people have to go sometime.
Your brain can control that.
The only place I can do that is on a plane.
Wrong.
I swear, that's me.
But I'm saying, you're probably hurting yourself by holding it like that.
Maybe. Maybe I need a colonic.
You really never you've never been on a 3-hour ride somewhere?
No.
Like when you went up to see that football game?
No.
Right? 2 hours, you never had to let go?
I have to pee.
But wait a second.
No duty.
You left your house that morning, right?
Go ahead.
2 hours to the football game.
Right.
Watched the football game for a couple hours, 2 hours home, and nothing. You didn't have to go.
Nope. I came home, and you know what? I have to go once a day pretty much for my duties. And it only happens when I get home. I'm so afraid of making a duty in public. I don't want to be doing it.
A couple times when I work construction, you got to go in that spackle bucket sometimes.
That is so.
I won't do it. This doesn't happen. My whole body shuts down. My sphincter closes way up.
You know, my friend worked construction. My buddy Frankie works construction, and they go. Guys go in a spackle bucket, and he says what happens is nobody throws it away. So sometimes you have to go get spackle, and you accidentally open up a bucket that's been there for like a week. It's just so foul.
Well, the older guys do it to you as a joke. They'll go, hey, man, go clean out that spackle bucket.
Yeah, but Artie, you do it on an airplane. I don't know anyone who does that.
Let me tell you something, man. Only in an absolute emergency. It's happened about 4 times.
Never with me.
Tell you, man.
It doesn't happen with me, boy. I tell you, I could fly 16 hours. I wouldn't make a duty.
I've never done that.
Well, I'm not going in a plane.
Me neither.
One time.
See, you have control.
Well, I can tell you, I know what that's like, because when I first left home to go to college, I wouldn't go all week. I had to go home on the weekend.
Right.
Just to do that.
When I go on vacation, I can't make a duty for 3 days. Because I'm not home. My body's saying, when are you going to get me home so I can make my duty?
There's nothing better than a home field crap. There really isn't. You want
Didn't
the
you
home
once
field
go in your
advantage.
pants?
Once by accident.
Or pantyhose, actually.
Didn't you fill up your pantyhose with a big present?
I'll tell you what, I considered it on a plane. Just going in my, you know what I mean?
Oh, my God.
Get out of here. That would be worse.
Well, that's how gross it is. One time I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to just go.
You must have been on heroin.
I'm going to just go and see if the guy next to me...
Oh,
if somebody makes, a stink part of the pump... I ended up going in the bathroom. But I thought about it for a good 10 minutes.
Artie's disgusting.
I thought about it for a good 10 minutes. That's how much I didn't want to go in there.
Go ahead, but people are insects, because this weekend I was on a plane, right? This lady takes her baby, puts it on the tray table, and starts changing it right there. The kid had a dirty diaper and smelt up the whole plane.
No, you got to do that in the bathroom. But it's very hard.
You got to get up from your seat to do that.
You should get a ticket or something. I mean, what an insect to do that. Oh, but I used to keep a Gatorade bottle in my car because I drive a lot and stuff like that. I can't tell it how many times I would hit a bump and then spill all over me. You know what I mean? I mean, it's you know, if you don't have good aim or something like that.
You would go in a Gatorade bottle while you were driving?
Yeah, you got to get up.
Would you pull over to the side of the road?
No, not at all. I was driving.
Why you have your foot on the pedal?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, if you had LIE.
That's awesome.
But you got to have good aim, and you can't hit any bumps.
You get a ticket for being on your cell phone, but no problem going to the bathroom in a Gatorade bottle.
No, but it's funny.
I do that in the back of my limo sometimes. I get on my knees because I can't stand up.
You're not driving.
No. Oh, yeah. So what are you going to do? You can't get a bathroom. And then I pour the contents out onto the street. I pull over and pull it on the street. What am I going to do? One time my daughter had to do it. My little one. I held a Snapple bottle.
What?
Yeah, sure.
She went in a bottle?
Sure.
You never dropped a deuce back there, though, right?
No.
So listen, how would you react to
Limo drivers drop a deuce in the back.
Who did that? Did Ronnie do that?
No, Ronnie's buddy. He was picking up some rabbi out on Long Island. And he had to go so bad that he took a box. And he went in the back of the limo. Rabbi was like wasn't even coming out of the house. In the middle of it, the rabbi comes out, knocking on the door. So the guy goes out the other door, takes the box, throws it in the trunk. And the whole place stinks like a bathroom. The rabbi gets in and knew right away the guy dropped a deuce. Ronnie once went and made in his pants when he was driving, and he whipped off his underwear. He threw it up into a tree. So somewhere like in Central Park, there's like a duty underpants and a tree.
Duty tree.
There's a duty tree.
I told you I had an accident.
Hey, Ma, look at that. This underpants tree.
Yeah, I told you I had an accident here about 4 years ago.
I remember that.
In here?
Yeah, what happened?
He threw his underwear in the little garbage pail in the bathroom.
What happened was I was closing on my house, and I was just all freaked out. And
were the underwear like completely messy, or did you just dump all the contents into the toilet and just throw the?
No. It didn't get that bad. It was more. It wasn't solid enough to dump anywhere.
Right.
Oh.
What happened was I was at the urinal, but my stomach was churning. I was freaking out about buying this house. Was it too much money? And I went to make some gas, and
you had an accident.
I had an accident.
A full accident.
A full accident. But you know what I did? I did something real even grosser. I reached into the garbage pail, and I took all those dirty paper towels that people left in there, and I pulled them out, and I stuck the underwear, and then put them back on top.
Right.
And then I had to scrub my hands.
Well, you don't have your name sewn in your underwear like what my mom does for me, do you?
But it was so embarrassing.
Yeah, so they could trace it.
Yeah. I'd have to rip the labels out.
I told you the ultimate loser story was I pulled over once, messed up, drunk.
You went on your neighbor's bathroom on the lawn.
No, no, it was in the woods. My buddy was driving, and I pulled over, and I went in the woods, and you know, you pull your pants down, and you get like a bridge there. I crapped into my pants and pulled my pants up. And got back in the car thinking I went in the woods.
So it was back in your pants?
And then when I got back in the car, they were all like, something stinks. And I was like, what? And they were like, oh, you must have... I said, no, I went in the woods and...
You realized you hit your pants.
You know the best part of the story, Howard? He left his pants somewhere.
I had to take the pants and underwear off and throw them on the side of the road, and I walked home, and I couldn't get in my house because my wallet and keys
were in your pants.
Were in my pants. And the next morning when I woke up, I realized that on the side of the road there was a pair of pants with a bunch of crap in them, and the other thing in them, the only other thing was my ID. Like a cop finds a pair of pants because some loser went.
So did you go find them?
No.
So what'd you do? You walked home naked?
I walked about a half a block. Because I had a long flannel.
Bottomless. Artie doesn't mind being bottomless. That's when he has to take his shirt off.
Would you walk the half a block with nothing on your bottom?
I had a long flannel on, you know, and covered it.
But you didn't care that your ID and money and credit card...
Yes, the next morning it was horrifying.
Did you go back to get it?
No, I was hoping maybe someone would...
Don't you need that stuff? Don't you need your credit cards and...
Driver's license?
This was years ago. I didn't have a credit card. I had a driver's license.
You didn't want to get your license?
Well, you know, I figured maybe someone would return it or something.
Like if I made in my pants and I was drunk and I left my pants by the side of the road and I left my wallet in it, I'd go back looking for my wallet. Because you know some kid's going to find it, your duty and everything.
Nothing. There was never any consequences about it.
You know, Howard, it's about like 2 or 3 weeks ago, my buddy put a log in a cup. Like, you know, a cup that you'd find in a hotel, because it was in a hotel room. Went to Bob Levy's room. We put it in the corner of his room. Like, you know, nobody
left it there.
Left it there. It took him about 5 minutes. He goes, what is that? And then we started laughing. He goes, get that thing out of here. Get it out of here. The thing was all steaming up.
Oh.
It was great.
You guys just love to like, play with duty.
It's funny. It's not?
It's weird.
He was mad.
I mean, you know what? At some point, you just want to, like, relax.
No.
You guys can't relax.
Not at all.
Like with the practical jokes every minute.
Every minute, hijinks.
I don't want to go back to my room and smell somebody's dude.
Yeah, that's not cool.
That's a killing offense.
You know, but some people have no problem with it. I remember we went on the road once, and Jackie was with us, and I brought a friend to Jackie's room, and Jackie was making a duty sitting on the toilet, but the guy said something interesting, so Jackie opened the door, and while he was sitting on the toilet, was in the middle of the conversation.
I was there. I was there one time when I went in Jackie's room and he moved his bowels, and it was like, dude, courtesy flush, something.
Yeah, but don't keep the door open.
Right.
I don't want to see you on the toilet.
Right.
He lit a match. He held a match while he told the story.
What would you do in this situation? I'm flying to L.A. once, first class, and I'm sitting next to a guy who's kind of a celebrity. I don't know if I want to say his name, but he's a...
Who is it?
Film critic.
Yeah. Roger Ebert.
No, it was. It's a major, film critic.
Gene Siskel.
No, the guy with the mustache.
Gene Shalit.
Gene Shalit.
Joel Siegel.
Joel Siegel.
Joel Siegel.
Joel Siegel.
Okay, whatever.
All right, go ahead.
And I'm sitting there, and I got a bunch of newspapers because it's a 6-hour flight. And he says to me, he's got the window seat, I got the aisle. He goes, hey, can I borrow your daily news? And I go, sure. I hadn't read it yet. I give him. I'm
he took it into the bathroom.
This is what he does. He goes, I'll take this into my office. He makes like a little giggly remark, and then he gets up and goes into the bathroom with my daily news. And he's in there, Howard. He's in there for like 20 minutes, and I'm just thinking he's getting, number 2 all over my daily news.
Of course.
So he walks back.
Oh, that's rude.
He walks back out, and the paper's all crumpled up, and he hands it back to me, and I just said, just put it down there, man. I'll get it. And I just read the other papers and didn't touch the thing.
Of course not. That's disgusting.
That's inconsiderate.
Yeah, you certainly shouldn't borrow somebody's paper for that.
Hey, Brett.
Yeah, hey, Howard, what's up?
What's up?
So, Casey might know a little bit about this. This is about a lot of years ago when I was in high school. I was wrestling and sucking, a lot of weight. So, 4 days before the tournament, I used to basically pig out, and then I used to take a ton of laxatives. And then I wouldn't go to the bathroom till, after I weighed in the tournament. So I would do this, and then usually the first match of the day, I would feel crap, and then I'd feel better. I'd start eating again, feel better. The first match of the day, I'm, holding it in the whole time. It was, the first period. Casey might know this. And, I'm like, oh, my God. And it, all came out. And I was like, oh, my God.
During a match?
During a match.
What kind of uniform did you have?
It was it's like a singlet. It's
what color?
A tiny little thing.
So in the middle of the match, you dropped a bomb?
Well, yeah, it was all watery,
Oh, my God.
Howard, I've seen that happen with a guy with a white singlet on.
What did the opponent do?
It was like a kid from another school that I kind of, knew. And I'm like, oh, my God, my friends are going to kill me. So I just,
Did they stop the match?
What's that?
Did they stop the match?
Or do you win?
I was like, oh, should I try to stop and run to the bathroom or something? Nothing. So I just, basically died out the rest of the match. I lost the match. And it was it was so sick. It was all over me. It was all over the kids.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
I went back and,
Were you the laughing stock of the school afterwards?
Actually, I don't know. No one even said a word about it. I'm I can't believe someone didn't notice.
Wow.
Because it was it was nasty.
Is that legal in a wrestling match?
But, it happens all the time because people don't eat for 3 days. No, you pig out. Your body can't handle that. You get squeezed around the waist once, it's coming out.
All the time, because it's pure water.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Howard, I told you guys about the time I was on the toilet and the doorbell rang and I dropped the hanger and I didn't know I stepped in it. And I moved over the house.
It's so embarrassing to be an adult and have an accident.
Well, you know what? The doorbell rang, right? And I thought that I had cleaned.
I thought you were done.
I thought I was done, but I must have had a hanger. And I ran all the way downstairs, and I opened up the door, and it's a kid selling magazines. I go, not interested. I shut the door, and I turned around and I looked, and it's a footprint all the way up the stairs.
Oh, no. It's bad enough when you stop being dog duty.
Yeah, I told my wife, my sneakers were out back because I had to hose them down.
Yeah.
I shoved the dog duty. It was all over the steps.
Did you say you saw one of your neighbors make a duty in your backyard?
No, it was I used to live right behind. It was a place where they parked the trucks for a landscaping business. So we were having a barbecue with the whole family. And all of a sudden my wife goes, oh, my God, look. And it was one of the Hispanic day workers. He had just come back, and he just dropped his pants and was going, right in front of us. And I went and complained to the guy. When I told the guy, the owner, he started to laugh.
Yeah, Mary Ellen.
Yes. Hello?
Yeah, Yeah, always say make duty.
Oh, okay. Is that what I need to say?
Yes.
Okay. I used to be the manager of a Victoria's Secret store in Greenwich, Connecticut, and we were having a visit from our regional manager. So we were cleaning our store real well one time, and I looked underneath a table, and I saw something, and unfortunately pulled it out, and it was a pair of panties with a big duty in them that someone had...
That was KC.
underneath the table.
Wow.
And obviously stolen a pair of panties to replace it after they got rid of those under the table in the store.
So somebody had an accident, just whipped their panties off and threw it underneath the table.
Yep, I guess so.
Wow.
Why would you throw it under a table?
Now I know what the secret is.
That's Victoria's Secret.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
That's quick thinking. I might as well, like, dump my panties.
Whip it under the table.
No one's going to notice panties in Victoria's Secret.
You tell me you've never been on the couch on a Sunday watching a really big game and you're very comfortable and you didn't at least think about it?
No.
Crazy, Artie.
You can't walk to 5 feet?
You know, just...
Artie's like a blob.
Really? He doesn't even want to move for that?
I mean, if you just say, you know, hey, look, I'll just get it later.
Let me ask you a question. If
It's 3rd and 8.
If it's a goof for Christmas, I got you a bedpan, just like as a goof. Would you use it?
No, stop it.
What are you talking about? You do it in your pants?
What if I got you a Depends?
Well, you know, that would be when it's bad.
Have you ever gone to the bathroom in a diaper? I mean, you know, as an adult.
Not since the late 60s.
I have. No, I couldn't do it. We tried it on the air. We tried to go to the bathroom in diapers.
Gary was the only
Gary was the only one who could do it. He had this strange look on his face. We put on adult diapers to see if we...
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Really?
That was a big. That was 2 nights on E.
And you couldn't go?
I couldn't.
I know it was really embarrassing.
I really tried.
I did too, but I could not make that move.
You know, Artie, it was really embarrassing. Like, I knew I was going, and I think the face gave me away.
Yeah.
But then they said they saw my diaper start to
The diaper's starting to get full.
I think Gary's full.
You know why? I don't think they expect you to fully go to the bathroom in those diapers as an adult.
To catch
any
accident,
you know,
I guess.
Like a little bit of an accident, right?
I'll tell you now what I said then. It wasn't entirely uncomfortable.
Really?
It was, you know,
liked it.
It was sort of freeing.
You know, who used to wear diapers was Tiny Tim.
Really?
Did he?
Well, he didn't like underwear. He didn't want to. He thought it was unsanitary.
No.
So he wasn't going in them.
Who knows what he was doing? Guy was a real freak. Who knows what he was doing in those diapers? All right, got to take a break and we'll do the news right after these words.
I love you, Howard.
You make me break.
Hey, John. Where do you go to the bathroom on that Survivor show?
There's this really disgusting outhouse, but you got to go up on this board and squat.
No, but you never see anyone in there. Like, you don't see, like, Bruce Jenner making a duty or something.
No, but everybody did. And in fact, I missed one night and went all over the board. And
did you
Melissa
clean
Rivers, it? No, but I didn't know. And Melissa Rivers, went in there and started complaining.
So what'd you do?
I had to go in there with a bucket of water and clean it up. It was really disgusting.
It's not a princess can't handle a little duty.
But Bruce Jenner was on bathroom, so he had to go and take the bucket that everyone went in and change it with a clean bucket.
Joan Rivers evidently, like, did something where she bought a bank of phone cards or something and
had a bunch of people make phone calls.
And fixed it so Melissa wouldn't be voted off. And
that was a rumor.
Like you said, it's a sad day because that girl's never going to know what it's like to do anything on
Once
her
her mother's gone, she'll figure out, I guess.
But she'll have all her mother's money, so her mother will live on.
It'll make it a little less painful, I suppose.
Right.
Apparently she's real upset about that because she says that it was a rumor and it didn't really happen, but people on the show said that the votes jumped, but she was like going to be one of the first or second to be voted off. From there, she went straight up to like almost number one.
Mm-hmm. But why is it so important to Joan that her daughter win?
I don't know, but
I don't think it was important to Joan. I think she knew it would be important to Melissa. It would crush her to be the first to be voted off.
But Chris Judd apparently even...
Melissa grew up in a house where plastic surgery is the norm, and it looks to me like she's getting a little overboard.
Well, that's why I was asking you if you'd seen her, because I figure she must have had liposuction on the body.
Right.
She claims all she had was breast implants and a nose job.
Yeah.
No. What about those lips?
She claims that they're hers.
You know what? They don't consider collagen plastic surgery. These are the people who get it.
Botox.
Botox is not plastic surgery. Any other thing. If they haven't been cut, they didn't get it.
But they said even that Chris Judd won by 1 million votes. That's how much he won by, because people just fell in love with him.
I know I did.
I know J-Lo did.
You know what? I was really comfortable on my sofa, and I never got up to vote.
I got up to vote, but not to go to the bathroom.
Did you watch the show?
I watched some of the episodes. I would TiVo them and fast forward.
I saw the first night, and then I gave up.
Well, I just, I wanted to know what John was up to, so I was checking it out.
But Beth called me and said that she was watching, and apparently her mother was watching a lot.
Her mother watched. Beth didn't watch.
Oh, really?
Maybe Beth watched it some nights when I was asleep or something. I don't know. I didn't watch it. I mean, I tried to watch the first night, but it was horrible.
I knew it was going to be bad the first night.
Really? Well, I didn't.
It was just you were sitting there. That's what you were doing.
People were sitting. I was like, well, I mean, when am I going to watch it? I wanted to watch for you, but then I gave up.
Luckily, after a couple of days, they had some file footage of things that had gone on in the camp, and they showed you mostly videotape, because watching you guys live was death.
Oh, yeah, there was not. Oh, yeah, I know. Well, we're just sitting around talking.
Yeah.
But there was
no show, though. They didn't pit you guys against each other.
But there were so many fights, though. They didn't show all the fights.
They showed some, but not the first night.
The first night there weren't no fights. They were just there live.
The guy would promo a fight was coming up, and promo, and then something would happen, and they'd come back, and it was like Entertainment Tonight, how they tell you, coming up next, something very big.
Never happen.
It never would happen.
Can I ask you a question? Somebody called in and said that can I ask you this? In the gossip page that you and Beth were out buying, looking for
wedding dresses.
Wedding dresses?
Yeah.
Oh, you saw that?
Is that true?
Of course. You didn't know I'm getting married? I got married while you were gone.
Yeah, that was the big thing that you missed.
Yeah. No. Beth is a model, right?
Yeah.
About 6 weeks out of the year, she does the bridal shows. They're doing them now, where you model wedding gowns. So the Globe, with their excellent reporting, got a hold of a picture of her in a wedding gown and said that she goes out every weekend behind my back trying on wedding gowns to force me to marry her. It was a stupid story in the Globe. First of all, why would if I was dating a lunatic who went out and tried on wedding dresses during the week to force me to marry her?
I don't know how trying on a dress is going to force you to do anything.
The story was flawed. Even making up the story, there's got to be some sort of...
Yeah, like why would he do that?
So there's still no plans on any wedding?
No. I'm never getting married again. I told you
Don't believe him, but he's not marrying this week.
Not this week. I don't want to be married.
I already know the whole story.
Give it to me.
I can't wait.
Let me hear the whole story.
I know
told me
exactly
already.
how you're going to
Tell me.
I'm not telling you, because then you'll not do it.
I'll do it.
Robin told me to bet on.
Go ahead. Tell me what's going to happen.
She said that you were definitely getting married.
Tell me the story she told you.
You don't even know what
tell me what you think you know.
I'm not telling you.
Not you, John.
I want to watch. I
No.
never told him this.
She just told me that you're definitely going to marry Beth.
Give me a time frame.
Your money in the bank. That's what.
I've never told him what I know.
Oh, come on.
You
don't know anything.
I know exactly.
Oh, I'll tell you something that she said to me, but is that all right to say?
You could say it.
She said that this is the same thing that happened when you first met Allison. At first, that eventually
No, when I met Allison. First of all, Robin wasn't there when I met Allison.
That's not what I said.
When I met Allison,
what happened when you met Allison?
Well, I'll tell you what happened when I met Allison. Almost from the day I met her, I knew I'd marry her.
That's not the point. From the day you met Beth, you've never left her. It's the same scenario.
Yeah, it was something was the same.
Okay, I'm not marrying, but you might be right. Let's see.
Trust me, I know your story.
Sometimes you say you know stuff and then you turn out to be wrong.
I know you.
Admit that.
I know you. I'm never wrong about you.
It ain't happening.
Let's see.
Even if a prenup was involved, you still wouldn't.
No.
Don't worry. He's not even going to get a prenup when it happens.
Nope.
So how soon until it happens, Robbie?
Oh, it's not going to happen for a while.
Give us a time frame.
I'm not telling you what I know, because then you'll stop and not do it.
You don't know anything.
Watch.
It's only your guess.
I'm going to write it down today.
Write it down, put it in an envelope.
Put it in a time capsule.
Do it.
And then on the day you do all this stuff, I'm taking it out and showing it to you.
And what will you have won? Nothing.
Nothing. Just the satisfaction of you saying, well, you're right.
Is it going to?
By the way, how do you know all this? Is it because one of the people in your coven tell you?
That's right. It's a spell we've cast on you.
I know it. Sean, you're on the air.
Yeah, what's Robin and the Goddesses trying to...
The Goddesses are working on me.
They're brewing up a batch right now.
A couple years back, Howard, you did a psychic prediction when you were picking out the stuff for Melissa. Hold on, I got another call.
All right, sure, no problem. Love call waiting.
Howie.
Yeah.
All right, so you mentioned that Melissa's not going to be married more than 2 years, and did she ever end up staying married more than 2 years?
No.
No.
Oh, the prediction was
Listen,
right.
I actually have a track record in this. I could have told you.
I told you what you do after you got divorced. You said you were going to be running around.
No, I never did.
You did, too.
I told you I wasn't interested in just banging indiscriminately.
Excuse me.
Get the tape.
You said,
Get the tape.
I'm going to see a lot of women.
Right.
I'm not
you didn't even go through your
You
efforts.
said, I'm not going to live with. Beth is not going to have a key to my apartment. She's not going to have a drawer. She's not. All that's happened.
No, we got a dog.
Oh, you need the dog for an excuse for her to say yes to all that stuff, because you really want her there.
No, I need someone to help me with the dog.
You got the dog so you could say yes to all that.
I'll be quiet.
Is Bianca and Java friends?
She's a sweetheart.
You must be worth a fortune. Are you worth $100 million?
Not 100.
Wow.
When you say you
You're
work
a
with
catch.
Britney Spears, what did you do with her?
I produced a vocal.
Okay.
Was she mental?
No, not at all. Not with me.
Should be like the normal.
She's a sweet girl. Really
You're
sweet.
worth the close. You've got to have an amazing catalog. You're a
I don't
smart
own it anymore.
businesswoman.
Yeah, and I own a
What do you mean you
publisher.
sold? You owned your own catalog and you sold it
To Bug Music, yeah.
When you sell that many, how many songs were in the catalog?
Hundreds.
Well, what do they pay for something like that?
Some money.
70 million?
No, not
50 million?
La 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 la.
Wow.
Can we hear more songs?
Do you have a prenup with your husband? Hello?
La la la
Hello?
la la.
Panty shot time again if you don't come out with the words.
Robin, you're so pretty.
Do you have?
Oh, stop.
Oh, stop it with her. She knows that already. You had to have signed a prenup with your husband. You're worth.
You just got
Isn't
married
time
2
up?
years ago.
I thought that was an hour we were in.
All right,
we're
well-
keeping you. We like you.
All right, you have the Jason. You have the last word, and you're right. The time is up. Jason, go ahead. Hello.
Oh, he hung up on me. I
He had
love it.
enough.
He had
That's
enough.
right.
He's like, you know what? Screw that bitch.
Well, there you go. Listen, you've had an interesting life,
I have.
and
I've had a
that's
good
why
life.
that's why it's in a book. Cara DiGuardi's book, A Hell of a High Note, is in stores now. I've really enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you. And I hope it inspires people to follow their dreams, go for it, and face their fears, because
What
that's
if
what I
their
did.
dreams, there's so many people who go on American Idol and they think they can sing, but they can't sing. Don't you think there are people out there who are totally off the mark in what their dream should be?
I do, but you know what? There's one way to see whether it's a dream or it's really, a pipe dream or a dream, and that's the hard work. Because a lot of people want to say they want to do things,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, you got to work hard for it.
Listen to me. Out in the hall when you leave, we have a parting gift of about a case of Robitussin, so you can have
Oh
that
my
baby.
God, that's awesome.
I'm going to make sure
I'm
that
going to get
happens.
to it tonight.
I happen to know you're a good person. I know in your book you talk about your mother dying and you took time off and you sat with her. What, for 6 years you were with your mother?
She was sick for a long time.
You gave her, you cleaned her, you changed her diaper, you gave her enemas, and let me tell you something. Ain't that many people who'll do that.
She
You're a
really
good-
was a great person.
She's
She
all
had,
right.
she's
was
human
okay.
like all of us. But let me
She
tell you,
was human.
I swear to God, that's the best thing I ever did in my life.
Being with your mother while she was dying.
100%.
Father still alive?
Yes.
Okay. Dating?
Married.
Married.
Wonderful woman, yeah.
All right. Now.
I like you.
Oh, I like you.
No, I do. I really like you. I like
I've
you.
got-
You know when I knew I really liked you? When I read this Rolling Stone interview.
Oh, really?
I thought it was very heartfelt. You were really honest, and I like that you were dealing with your demons. I like people who face their shit. To me, it's what this life is about.
And I'm going to tell you something. You're right to like me because I am a wonderful person.
Nah, I'm starting to see
Right.
this.
And I turn you on. Believe me, I do.
You know, I think you turn everyone on.
That's right.
Let's be honest.
I'm
Ronnie's even turned on.
I think you are in love with me.
I am so in love with you.
That's right.
If you're going to help me sell books, I am like beyond in love with you.
There you go. Well, we will help you sell books. It's an interesting book. It really is.
Thank you so
congratulations. A hell of a high note. In stores now.
Hi.
You guys hit it off.
Oh, God, that was so fun. I mean, you know, that guy, like, gave me my props. I'm forever a fan. I mean, I was a fan already. But, you know, in the past, I think he definitely, what did he call me, eye roller or something. But you know, I understood it because on Idol, when I looked at myself, I'd go, that girl is so annoying. I want to smack her. So Cara is dead.
And Cara,
I'm Cara.
You're back.
I'm back. I'm me. So anyway, it was great. I hope I get to come back.
I heard you say in there that, you know, you finally felt like you could display who you truly are in there.
Yeah.
He gave you that forum.
He did. He really did. And for that, I owe him a lot. I really appreciate that. He could have made that really tough for me and concentrated on all the negative, but he gave me a minute to really tell people what I do and to show that I'm actually a kind of fun girl and I'll take everything so seriously.
Now, you've worked with a lot of talent. You've also obviously been a part of American Idol where you evaluate talent. Evaluate Howard. What makes him so special?
Well, he's doing a lot of things. He knows how to suss somebody out. And he also has an angle. And he's somebody who does his homework. He did a lot of homework to know all those things. That's not just fly by, you know, sit there and interviewing and not knowing anything about who you're interviewing. And he knows how to stay in character.
Right, there's a lot of humor involved.
A lot of humor. He's really funny, and he goes with it, and he's dedicated, and he works hard. Like everybody who's successful. He gets an A+. He's going to Hollywood.
He didn't get any.
Yeah.
He's not getting downgraded because of the panty shot, though, right? That's okay.
You know, I mean, what am I going to do? I wear panties. You know, is that going to be online, that my panty shot? I'm just glad there wasn't any cellulite there.
No.
But I'm just trying to figure out how you get a panty shot, because there must have been a camera up my dress.
No, they're all in the ceiling. They're all from overhead.
How the hell did that... All right, I'm not that stupid, so I'm trying to figure out how that worked. But all right, whatever. They got a panty shot. Great. What am I going to do?
So you'll be back, it seems. It seems like...
If he wants me back, yeah.
I think so.
He's awesome. I had a great time.
Cool. Thanks for stopping by,
Thank
Cara.
you.
He wants to make you hot chick of the week.
Oh, that's... Are you serious?
Yeah, why not?
That's awesome. Aww.
He has 60,000 followers.
74,000.
74? That's so sweet. You know what, though? I think I'm too young. Old for you, I mean.
Yeah.
Young, old for you.
You're married.
Yeah, I know. You know what? You're a good guy. And I side with him, by the way, because there are a lot of people that will tell you that they love you, but not show it. And you maybe don't say it, but you show it. And actions to me speak louder than words.
JD thinks that's funny.
Oh, what the hell does JD know?
I just thought it was funny how she got brought into his relationship.
Yeah.
I did. She asked me about it, JD.
I did.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't know.
This is an ongoing thing from before she went into the studio.
All right. Okay.
I
thought this was...
Take it easy.
I just thought it was funny.
I wasn't interacting with the guest. It started.
I just felt you
Take it
weren't
easy.
so comfortable
I have
talking
to walk,
about
I have to walk the lady out
And now
now,
you're
okay?
discussing it with all
Lee,
our guests.
Ronnie's walking me out.
I have a job
Forgot
to
your
do.
Ronnie Munn painting.
I have a job to do.
What's all this good stuff here?
Take it with you.
Oh, I want a red velvet cup.
I'll get you a plate.
Wait, can I bring one to Larry?
Yeah, let me get you a plate.
Wow, you really got on Ronnie's good side.
I like Ronnie.
He can be a tough guy sometimes.
Ronnie?
Yeah.
Sweetheart. It's cupcake.
Oh, he's getting his
Papa Ronnie is...
to-go container.
Papa Ronnie. I love Papa Ronnie. It's kind of like pepperoni, but Papa Ronnie. You're totally Papa Ronnie.
Thank you.
No, that's a great name for you, because it's like, it sounds like pepperoni, but it's Papa Ronnie. Papa Ronnie.
Sounds good
Papa
to me.
Ronnie. Oh, I could write a jingle on that. Let me see.
Cara, he's been taking a lot of flack for his new mustache. What do you think about that, the handlebar?
What's under it?
What's under what?
You got nice lips, right?
Yeah, I think so.
He doesn't need a
Work good with you.
Oh, you're funny, man. Come on.
Bye.
I gotta go. Papa Ronnie.
Thank
See
you.
Bye. See you later.
This is the best of the wrap-up show. A recap and behind-the-scenes look with John Hyde and Gary Dell'Abate. The best of the wrap-up show begins now.
On Monday's wrap-up show, Deb called in to defend me between the age difference of me and my girlfriend. She had an older boyfriend also. There was like a 20, 30-year difference between them. Unfortunately, her guy kicked off, and she's unhappy without him, but mine still got me. Then Ken called in from somewhere in the fucking future somewhere and tried to break my balls, but you wait and see what I did to him. Check it out.
Deborah in Jersey, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hi, guys. Is this me?
Yeah, it's you, Deborah.
Hi. I want to defend Ronnie.
Okay.
Because, everybody makes a big deal about the age difference between him and his girlfriend. And I want you to know I had a relationship, the love of my life was 34 years older than me. And what people don't understand about that is women love contrast. And sometimes, people, if you're white and you date somebody who's black, that's a sexy contrast. And sometimes it's an age difference contrast. But why I want to defend Ronnie is this. I think he does genuinely love his girlfriend, but he's protective of her. And he realizes because of the age difference that, if one day she changes her mind or she wants to go on to a, more permanent relationship with children, he doesn't want her getting emotionally committed because she may grow past this relationship. And I think Ronnie is being very sensitive to her feelings, and he's being way more protective than you guys are giving him credit for.
What do you think, Ronnie? Is Deborah making sense here?
Well, basically, that's what I said, because I've talked to her about this numerous times about, are you sure you know what you're doing getting yourself into this relationship with me? That, first of all, I told her we're never going to get married, and second of all, I told her we're never going to have a kid.
Right.
So she doesn't care, she claims. See, and I'm very leery of that.
But are you protecting her, or, hold on, are you protecting her, or are you protecting you?
Both.
Right, because it's the same for you. You're protecting yourself because she may say, you know what, I want kids. I got to go.
Right. But
Ronnie, let me tell you something. She does really, really love you. And if any insecurity you have about that, banish it from your mind because she loves you. She's your lover. She's your confidant. She's your girlfriend. I know it sounds crazy that somebody could, with that much of an age difference. But, Scarlett Johansson is dating, what's his name? The actor now.
Sean Penn.
Oh, right. But they went to the correspondence dinner, and they went separately. She went with her fraternal twin brother because they didn't want the press talking about them. But the press did talk about them, and they started listing all the May, December romances. And guess who made the list? Howard and Beth. And, Howard can't be a hypocrite about this because he's 18 years older than his wife.
Yeah, that's still 16 years less difference than Ronnie.
Hey, Deborah, as from the woman's point of view... from
15 years, Gary.
Happy birthday.
Deborah, from the woman's point of view, your guy was 34 years younger. How should Ronnie help prepare Stephanie for his death?
What an
idiot.
I swear to God.
Stuff about that. It's not. It sounds like a morbid topic, but we used to discuss that all the time with Mike, and we joke about it. And he would complain about his age, and I would say to him, "Well, consider the alternative." Now the irony of it is,
what happened to your guy? What happened to your guy?
She killed him.
He was when he was dating me. And would I date a man 34 years younger than me? No, I wouldn't. That's just my own insecurity. But love is love, and attraction is attraction. And, Ronnie, she's not dating you because of your notoriety or your wealth or whatever you think.
Wealth.
She generally loves
no wealth, believe me.
Underneath all that facade.
No, Deborah, we definitely got that. Just the last question is, what did happen to your guy?
What happened to your guy?
He did pass away. He passed away.
And how old was he when he passed away?
72.
And how long were you guys together?
On and off for about 20 years.
Okay, and how old are you now?
I'm Howard's age. I'll be 57 in May.
Okay, well, that's what I do.
Could you tweet a picture of your ass?
Ronnie,
yes.
I got to tell you something. He still was the best.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He was the love of my life. And the thing is, until hopefully maybe I'll meet somebody else one day. But I'm saying, forget this business. These guys are too young to appreciate that it doesn't matter what package your lover comes in. If you love them and you're attracted to them, you could be from Mars and somebody can love you.
I got you.
All right, thank you, Deborah.
Thank you very much, Deborah.
Ronnie, have you discussed funeral plans with Stephanie?
No,
at all,
I
like you were
haven't.
saying?
No. No, I haven't.
That's a follow-up question.
The late 50s is a good time
Thanks,
to look
asshole
for your...
Benji.
Hey, Ronnie, I know you love Steph, or like Stephanie, and I know she loves you. I think it's a great relationship if you guys are happy. I have no...
We've
nothing,
had that
but it's a real thing.
A million times.
It's a real thing. That's what age
circles.
difference is. I mean, really, that's what it's about. It's like, you know,
listen,
who's going to die?
She dated guys. We talked about this a million times in the past 3 years, okay? She's dated guys her age. She can't find anything in common with them. All they want to do is meet her at a club or something, take her home and fuck her, and then leave her.
And
she doesn't want to be
bathrooms.
Isn't that
nice
what you guys do? No, but it's a different club. No, dude, I'm just saying. What are you talking about?
Instead of the tunnel, it's Rick's.
Gary. That's not what I'm talking about.
Oh.
It's they're all looking for one night stands.
I see what you're saying. I got you.
She's looking for a relationship where she can be with somebody that she cares about.
But you, never mind.
Ken in Florida, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hey, age difference is the least of this loser's issues.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What
do you mean,
first
Ken?
of all, well, I agree with the previous caller. If age was the only thing, even 2-3 decades, I don't even think that matters. It's the emotional immaturity that this guy brings to the relationship, whatever age. She's more adult than he is. I want to ask one question.
How do you know that?
Well, go ahead. Ask your question, Ken.
Yeah, all the time that the Eugene is in the studio, all the time that he's putting on his little Ronnie shows that we hear about, who's doing his job? Who's the appointed person? I know a little bit about security, and I know.
And what do you know about it? What do you know about it? What do you know about it?
Listen,
you don't know shit about it. You're sitting in Florida in your goddamn. You're sitting in your goddamn rocking chair in Florida, looking out the window,
fucking your fat wife.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, I'll tell
yeah,
you
you retired piece of shit. Get out of here. Go to Boca and sit there at the early bird special.
Hey, Gary, will you shut him up for a second?
No, I'm not going to shut up.
Gary,
because you're jealous. Jealousy.
I don't really have much control over Ronnie.
No, wait a second. You shut his mic down.
Nobody shut my mic down.
Ronnie, okay, hold on a second.
Well, Ken, what was your question? And Ronnie will answer.
Okay, Ken, make a point.
He won't talk to me, though. See? He won't talk to me.
Let him say it.
He's a dick. He can't fucking address me.
Ronnie, let him talk.
Address me, moron.
Ken, ask Ronnie your question. Ask
like
Ronnie
a
your
human
question.
being, not like an asshole. Just say, hey, Ronnie, I want to ask you a question. Not fucking immature asshole or whatever you're going to say.
Listen to this.
You're the immature asshole talking like that.
I'm trying to talk.
Well, now talk like a normal person.
I'm glad everybody's hearing this because you have no capacity to be quiet. It's all about you.
Right.
Now, I'm going to.
It's my microphone.
I'm going to answer your question. You asked me what do I know about security? A simple, basic fact. That if you leave your post, you better damn well have somebody backing you up. Otherwise, you compromise security. And I ask the simple question, who do you have backing you up when you're not where you're supposed to be?
Okay, first of all, my post is outside and inside the studio. So when I'm inside the studio, I am with Howard. So what's going to happen when I'm inside the studio?
Your perimeter is unprotected.
What perimeter? I'm in the fucking studio.
That's
you
what
moron.
you don't know about security.
And we also have serious security right outside the door. So you don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know what perimeter means, asshole?
Yeah, we have serious security outside the door. Okay, asshole.
Listen, you fool.
Fool.
I don't understand.
A guy who sits on a phone calling the radio show all the time is a fool.
Wait a second. You want to start knocking your fans, the subscribers who pay your salary?
Please.
I don't think you want to start. Wait a second. Another sign of immaturity.
Yes.
I don't think you guys want to start insulting your listeners.
You called up and insulted me, you fucking asshole.
No,
you called up and insulted me first, didn't you? You couldn't call up and say, hey, I got a question for Ronnie. No, I got a question for the immature idiot or whatever. Fuck you, dude. Who are you? You're shit.
That's just a given. It's just a given.
Shut your fucking radio off. I don't care.
The way you deport yourself in public, Ronnie.
Yes.
The way you talk about.
Yes.
I'm talking to a guy here who likes fingers up his ass. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I guess you're not into sex. You like fucking taking it up the ass from guys.
I'm not the one that said it.
Yeah.
I'm so glad everybody got to hear it. You're short. You got no.
What do you got? What do you have?
My work involves, let's say, work that got me as the runner-up in the Gary audiobook contest.
Oh wow!
Or whatever it's
How
I'm
cool!
Just saying, I'm not. I believe me. I didn't live to do it.
Runner-up. You didn't even fucking win.
Let's just
You're
say
great.
I work with
You're awesome, man.
I work with Pro Tools a lot.
So do you think that makes you better than Ronnie? Of course.
No, not one bit.
Well,
I'm not the one that says better or worse. I just said that this guy is so emotionally immature.
Listen, dude, listen
that
back
he
to the
doesn't even
tape.
know how to handle a relationship. And the way he behaved on the show today, when Stern just let him ramble on and basically take control of the microphone, Gary, no disrespect to you and a little disrespect to Howard, but you guys can't moderate properly if you let this guy steamroll over people.
Actually, when he was I got to tell you, when he was steamrolling over you, it was sort of funny. That's why we let it happen.
How many? Hey,
it's just not funny to you.
Hey, you! How many followers do you have on Twitter?
Hey, you know how many I have? I'll tell you.
How many? What? 13?
None, because I could give a shit. And I don't think anybody really cares what I have to say. That's how important I feel about myself.
Well, obviously, that's why you have to call the wrap-up show to get your big mouth out somewhere, don't you?
All right, I'm bringing this to an end. Ken, thank you for calling in.
On Tuesday's wrap-up show, we're lucky to have two big guests, director Scott DePace and Robin Quivers from our show. And they got into a discussion about Obama, about Donald Trump, about torturing prisoners, and it got a little bit heated. It was interesting to watch. Here's what happened.
There's been a lot of talk about bin Laden and what went down, and I asked Scott to come down to Pace because it seemed like everyone is sort of okay with now some of the methods that were used in order to get to the end. You know, the means justifies the end, or vice versa. Do you feel vindicated at all now that people are like, you know what, maybe it was a good idea that we had those guys down in Guantanamo?
I guess so, a little bit. Why, Gary, how are you feeling these days?
I'm just glad it happened. I'm not
But
really...
are you okay with waterboarding a Khalid Sheikh Mohammed?
But I think they've been very quick to point out that none of these revelations were made during the enhanced interrogation.
That's not what the guy from Long Island, the senator,
Peter
is saying.
King? Yeah, I don't like him at all.
Yeah, because he's Republican.
No,
of course.
because he's just sort of a loose cannon that just says a lot of wacky shit. Not because he's Republican.
Wow. Well,
What do you mean,
liberal, where's the loose shit? Where's the loose cannon you're talking? I don't understand.
He just spouts a lot of crap.
Because he had a committee hearing on whether Muslims or, I don't know, whatever he said, Muslims in America or something. Is that the one?
Just in general, I always hear him, you know, he's always on the contrary to anything that the Democrats say. So, yeah, I probably don't like him because he's Republican.
Exactly.
He's ugly, too. He's like a big face.
But hey,
he's a funny-looking guy.
There's there's two things that I think people are mixing up into one thing with the enhanced interrogation. Is there's the moral argument. Is it morally wrong for us to be doing it? And is it effective? So, Robin, I want to ask you first, like, do you think is it morally wrong for us to be doing it, whatever the results?
Yes, I think it's morally wrong, and I don't think it's effective. And I think that's one of the things that are, is coming out of all of this stuff is that nothing was done. This guy didn't talk until after all that was over.
No, none of us know.
That's what I'm reading in reports.
Well, what I'm reading is opposite of that.
But this is what I don't understand, and this is like the argument. I was on the treadmill yesterday. I watched CNN and Fox News. I was going back and forth between the both of them. It was like two entirely different stories. So how does it come out that Robin's reading something one place and you're reading something in another place? What is that? What does that mean?
Right, exactly. It's fucked up. So what I believe is
what you want to believe.
I don't give a shit.
What you want to believe is.
I don't give a shit whether we chop their fucking toes off. These guys, they're not in a military. The Geneva Convention does not apply to them. So therefore,
well, it doesn't matter whether the Geneva Convention applies.
Well, that's what
there is a right and a wrong, and you have to decide what kind of people
you're
you want to be.
You're basically scaring them. Is all you're doing. You're not putting their health in any danger. So scare them all you fucking want, as far as I'm concerned, to find out the information you need.
Well, why don't we start putting, bamboo shoots under their fingernails?
Well, that you conceivably could say you're physically hurting them at that point. Right?
Yeah, I heard the argument that we're not doing that. This is actually, I heard this on Nick DiPaolo's comedy record. He said, we're not putting bamboo shoots. That's exactly what he said. He goes, he was trying to explain on his comedy record, but he was being serious that, you know how like when you see wrestling and how the floor has got springs in it, that the walls are like that. And when they bang a guy's head against the wall, they're not really hurting him. So, and when they waterboard him, all our guys get waterboarded. And that we're not torturing them, we're scaring them.
So Gary and Rob, if you, let's say,
by the way, I haven't come out and said I'm against torture.
Well, if you found out, Robin, it was effective to prevent innocent
you
death.
still have to determine what kind of person you want to be.
One that wants to keep our Americans safe.
Under any circumstances.
Yes. Yep.
That's the kind of person you want to be.
Are you okay?
What do you want
Are you okay with them putting a bullet in Bin Laden's head, or do you think they should have taken him alive?
Absolutely. He declared war on us. So as far as he's concerned, I'm a soldier. He said there were no innocent people in those towers on 9/11. He said any American is a soldier. So I feel the same way about him. We didn't kill him. He died in battle.
You don't think those dark-skinned people just kind of imply it by the way they look?
That's very funny, Benji.
Thanks.
Listen, I'm glad they killed him, because capturing him would have been the worst thing in the world.
Absolutely. It would have been a circus.
It would have been riots in the city, and he would have been a martyr. He's fucking dead. He's out to sea.
He would have been a reason to do all kinds of other things.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I think they buried like a pinky at sea. I think they have the whole body. They do a medical test. They didn't fucking throw anything in the sea.
Should assassination be okay for U.S. policy?
That all depends on who we're talking about.
Well, we've signed treaties against that.
Case
well,
basis.
if you picked him off, is that an assassination? If somebody just,
I think that would qualify as assassination.
Then
but by the same token,
It's
again,
not a leader, though.
He was an enemy of the country, and he had declared war on all of us. So,
Scott,
however you take him out, you take him out.
Scott, what do you think about this whole thing with Trump running for president and
I think so far he's done nothing wrong, and you guys are all wackos because all he wanted to do was come out, finally Obama could have put this arrested from day one. There was a lot of people who did not think that he was an American citizen.
And why was that?
That was because, you have to admit his one dad was from, I don't know, Africa
His
somewhere.
one dad? How many dads do we get?
His dad was from Africa somewhere. His mom had just moved to Hawaii.
Her name's
Stanley. I know a guy who ran for president against him that was born in Panama.
That was totally different. There was documentation.
I don't know
for
what
that.
goes on in Panama. That's not the
Gary,
United
we have
States.
something called the Constitution, right?
Yeah.
So if in it there was
he showed
an
the fucking
made,
birth certificate. He showed it.
He showed whatever the hell he showed was apparently not good enough for most
And
people.
the
So
state
why
of
not just
Hawaii
end?
said it was fine.
Why not just end the debate and show it? Why did he have to wait 2 years and make a big issue
They
of
couldn't
it?
find it. Did you read anything about
yeah,
that?
bull crap. They suddenly found it a week after Trump made the accusation.
Oh, it was Trump. He got afraid. He was afraid of Donald Trump.
Oh, my God,
And he
if you think
decided to
it
produce this
absolutely
information.
was that.
Are you out of your mind?
A poll came out the day earlier that said 30% of Americans believe that he is 100% an American citizen. There was a lot of people weren't starting to take Trump's position.
I don't buy that poll. That's a poll that you saw in a place that works for you.
No, it was like a CNN poll.
It was like a CNN poll, or it was a CNN
Gary,
poll?
I swear to God, in my life, it was a poll on your side.
You're saying that 70% of the country didn't believe he was American.
70% of the country was willing to believe that it was possible that he was not an American.
I don't believe that
Why would
poll.
he hold back this information?
Exactly. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because he felt it made the Republicans look stupid. And maybe it did in some ways. But once Trump got on board and a lot of people started to believe it because things aren't going so well in the country right now, then he said, well, I'm going to put an end to this fiasco.
Did you see the article I sent out yesterday about how Trump lied about his Vietnam deferment?
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah, I mean, he's as goofy,
Would you support? I'm not a big Trump fan. I think some of the things he's saying so far are great, and I'm on with them. But I don't think anyone who has a TV show where he's talking about firing people and that type, I think that would be a little odd to vote for that guy.
You mean like when an actor became the president of the country, that sort of thing?
No, it's not that dipshit. But it was just everything that goes along with him and his fake gold crap everywhere, and I don't know. I think it would be a little odd.
Does it surprise you that Howard's so happy about the Bin Laden thing and the way he's been talking about what went down?
No, he's always been on the right side of this argument.
How could you not be happy?
Absolutely.
He's on
Even
the wrong
I'm
side
on
of
the right side of this argument.
He's on the wrong side of the rest of the argument.
What is the rest of the argument?
You know, everything that's happening. You know, the Bush stuff and everything recently where he's still supporting this president, even though he's horrible. You know,
but that's an opinion, not a fact.
Of course. Well, yeah, that's what we're talking about here. Opinions.
Okay.
That's what this show's about.
That's what you call Scott for, not facts.
Oh, as opposed to yours, you're not willing to. What did she say this morning when? What was it when Howard said? About the what the nickname for Osama was?
Oh, Geronimo.
Well, I was listening to probably Fox News, and they were saying that.
And you couldn't admit you were wrong. You had to blame the reporter.
I couldn't admit. I didn't go and do this investigation. I was listening to a reporter.
But this is what I was curious about, Scott, and I think this is why John called you down, because I'm curious to know the answer. When all said and done in this particular incident, would you say that Obama did a very good job?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he basically continued the Bush policy, doing a very good job.
See, he's got to always give me an addendum.
It's always the man had to make a call in this particular instance.
I
Did he
guarantee
do
you,
the right thing?
Here's what I will also say. If Obama was president for, say, 4 years before, we might not have had the information to get Osama.
Again, as far as I can tell,
in other words, he's against the.
He talked about all of these names.
He and Holder
long
have been
after
against
the
all the
enhanced
interrogation.
All right. But you can't go down that road because if you want to,
I can do anything I want.
No, but if you blame like what's happening now on what happened, or take credit what happened 4 years ago, 8 years ago, there are good things that happen and bad things that happen. You can't just have your cake and eat it too. There.
But there's a track record here where they're trying to shut down Guantanamo every minute. They're trying to stop the waterboarding. I say fuck these people. I'm not. We got to stop babying this situation, and let's fucking get serious.
You'd think he was on one of those helicopters.
On Wednesday's wrap-up show, there was a lot of talk about Jesse James and the controversial picture he took with the SS hat. And Jason felt very strongly about what his intentions were, and that overlapped into Benji suggesting that there's nothing wrong with someone wearing that hat and going to a gay dance club. So Fred was here to chime in, Gary said his piece, I said mine, and there was a lot of talk about the Nazis. Only on the wrap-up show.
Welcome back to the wrap-up show. Before we move on to Doug Stanhope and Bingo, let's talk about how Jesse explained that picture, which became so controversial with the SS hat. He said he is one of the most non-racist people you'll ever meet. He said that today.
Which is usually what somebody says when they're in a situation. I don't know whether he is or isn't. He said he wasn't.
It's all perspective.
When you get into that situation, you're like, I have tons of Jewish friends. I have tons of black friends. Jason, what do you think?
Well, I have to say that. So to me, when Jesse was coming on today, that's what bothered me way more than the Sandra Bullock thing. And I did like the fact that he said he regretted it and he apologized. I thought, what else can you do at this point? But I don't buy his explanation. I'm sorry, I just don't buy it. I don't think. I think there's more than that one picture out there. There's that other picture of him in the car with his friends dressed up like a Nazi and they're giving the Sikh hails. There's another one that supposedly he's in. I don't know if there's a controversy if it's him where he drew a picture of like Hitler doing something, I don't know, and holding it and smiling. And I just don't buy it. I think maybe it was a long time ago and maybe he's a changed person now. But I think when you put on a Nazi uniform and start taking pictures with it, there's not a lot of humor in that for me.
Did he talk about the discussion he had about that on Piers Morgan? Did he discuss that? Because Piers Morgan gave him a really hard time about it, and he was like, "Screw you, your prince is a Nazi." He goes, "I only wore the hat. He had the armbands and everything on."
I think it's Jason. I just think that's yes, maybe he is racist. I don't have any evidence that he is, and to say like putting on.
Although
if I went
Nazi, you can make the same argument. Now, Kid Rock's going through that thing right now,
and
about
I think
the
he's
Confederate
racist
flag, where people are going like, "I see nothing wrong with the Confederate flag," and yet what it represents. I think it's a tricky thing. Sometimes people,
it's not that tricky. Here's the deal: if I went to Benji's house and he handed me a Confederate flag and a noose and said, "Hey, you want to pose for a funny picture?" I'd say no. Because that's offensive and it's wrong.
But I've done that with Benji, and it's okay.
But you don't think some people just put on a Nazi outfit? It's funny.
I wouldn't. I got to tell you right now. If somebody put a Nazi hat on me, I'd pull it right off because
I've done it, so I can't. I can't.
Fred hasn't. And you know what? I'm the one who rented it for Fred to do it, so we're both guilty.
We had to actually go out to Queens and with a letter.
What's that?
Is it okay for your kids to wear pirate outfits?
Yes,
sure.
Is a pirate a good person?
Or
are they going out raping and killing
the way
people?
they're depicted in movies now with Johnny Depp? Yeah, they're good people.
I'm not going to go down this road with Benji. I think you're splitting hairs and parsing stuff. I know if I was at my friend's house and as a joke he pulled out a Nazi armband and said, "Isn't this funny?" I'd leave. Like that. But it's a context. It's a symbol of hatred.
But what's funny? Wait,
hold on.
What could be funny about it? Like if I pulled it out and we were together, I go, "Benji, you should put this on. Isn't it funny?" What's funny about it?
Okay, here's it. Let's say that we all dressed up as Nazis and went to a gay dance club and went dancing. You don't.
But
think
why
that'd be
would we
funny?
do that?
It'd just be.
That's ridiculous.
It would be.
And why are you bringing the gays into it?
If you're doing
I think most Nazis were.
If you're doing some sort of performance, like okay, so Prince Harry, okay, right, who dressed up like the Nazi, I think that's what.
And what was his reasoning?
Now he was at a Halloween party. Now I still think he displayed amazingly poor.
I agree. It was stupid of him.
But at least it wasn't okay. It was a Halloween party. You're supposed to get into a costume, even though he picked the worst costume possible. When you're hanging out in a friend's house, just throwing Nazi shit on and throwing up the side heel and then the mustache. Sieg Heil. And then, by the way, there were lots of questions about that bombshell McGee with her WP and whether or not she was a white supremacist. I'm just saying, there's a lot of smoke there. I respect the fact that he came on and apologized and said he regretted it. And I would put them for me personally, I consider it a done issue, but I just don't buy.
He said he apologized about putting on the Nazi outfit?
Yes. He said he apologized and he regretted it.
He went to rehab for Nazi addiction, by the way.
Now, Fred, did you ever struggle with that? Because you did guess
with
who's
the Nazi
Jew?
addiction.
No, you did. I'm being serious. You did guess who's the Jew. And
you know what? Because it started off as just like one of those weird bits, and then it turned and blew up into something way, way bigger. Yeah, there were times when it was kind of weird to put on the uniform, and the weirdest thing for me was when we were doing Butt Bongo Fiesta, and I'm standing backstage. And I'm trying to hide from Daniel Carver because I didn't want him to see me in my outfit, and we wanted it to be a surprise. But he spotted me out of the corner of his KKK eye. A gleam and a glint came into his eye. He came over and he shook my hand, and I was going like, this is when it feels really shitty because,
well, yeah.
he feels like
he thought you were one of them.
He felt like there was a kinship there, and that made me really uncomfortable.
The weird thing for us was that Fred did not look entirely unnatural in the outfit. That was we're like, holy shit, Fred looks like a fucking Nazi.
But you see, that's why I've got a spare. So if there's a Fourth Reich to come along, it's like, if anybody wants to be a friend of mine, I'll put in a good word.
We're doing a scripted, and by scripted I mean we plan to do this bit. If Fred showed up at the Christmas party dressed like that guy you dress up as,
Kurt.
I have a problem.
Well, that was a problem.
But I wouldn't skate even if it was a former character. No, I'm dressing as a character that I portray.
We had to rent the outfit twice, right? Once for a live show, once for Butt Bongo Fiesta. The first time I rented it for the live show, no problems whatsoever. Went back to the same place to get it, and there had been an incident where somebody had rented it saying that it was for a stage show, but had in fact taken it around and
they were terrorizing like temples out on Long
Island.
So
I had to bring a letter on our letterhead taking full responsibility for anything that happened to the outfit while it was in my possession.
And another thing, to go back to Jesse's point where he's saying, oh, is that the Schindler's List house guy and this is what he has. If Fred had his Nazi outfit at his house, and again, I'm over there, and he goes, hey, Jason, want to put this on for fun and take
pictures?
So
I guess that Hitler watercolor I bought you for your birthday, I got to send that
Please
back.
And this is a
donate the money to the Holocaust.
This is a true fact. This is a true fact. Fred's outfit was from The Sound of Music, and that's a true fact.
It was great.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was the cool part about it. You look inside and go, Sound of Music,
You don't see the fun of just like, oh, it's fun to dress up.
Yeah, but not in a Nazi outfit.
No, for me,
that's a
I don't see the fun. I don't.
Incendiary outfit.
And I wouldn't dress up as a slave master.
And to do it in certain to do it in a way that's like to provoke someone in a mean way, like to do it in a
you could
Jewish
even go
area
back to the point of the producers, with Mel Brooks. I mean, for him, Springtime for Hitler.
What's the fun way of wearing a Nazi outfit? Tell me the fun way.
Like I said,
at a kid's party,
to do it in an absurd way, just to dress up, to do it like in a
for the shock value.
For fun, yeah, I could see it being
I don't see the fun. Like we were doing,
like I said, going to a gay dance club or like going somewhere like.
Why are you terrorizing the gays with Hitler?
Going ice skating at Rockefeller Center, dressed up as a Nazi.
He's talking about doing a
could be funny.
I'm seeing Benji's next bit.
But Benji, if you're doing a TV show, then I can weigh that. To do it for your own humor is wrong.
Well,
it's just wrong. It's just fucking wrong.
Yeah. You guys are like, it's just
no,
like
I know, but I know you have wacky ideas and you like to be a contrarian, but I can't figure out where you're going with this.
Listen, if someone was trying to do it to upset someone because,
but you don't think
Jewish,
okay, all right, so you're going to be funny. You're going to go to a gay dance club and just assuming that gays will think it's funny. But what about people that you don't think anybody's going to be fucking wildly offended?
I don't think. I don't think what's his name, Jesse James. I don't think he said he just did it at a friend's
I'm talking about you now. You're at a gay dance club because you're going to be crazy.
I don't go to gay dance clubs anyway.
But I'm just saying, you're in your Nazi outfit at a gay dance club. Like, where's the joke? And how do you don't think? How do you?
That was my first thing. I think the ice skating rink would be funny.
But don't you think people at the ice skating rink will be offended?
Hitler on ice.
Yes.
Did you?
You're a comedian. You're describing a performance piece, and if this is some piece that you're writing and you want to perform for some artistic
don't
value,
by the way. If
I wouldn't, but that's still different than what Jesse did with just fucking around wearing Nazi shit. And
have you ever played dress up at all?
I know there's no goofy pictures of you guys that exist anywhere.
Not a Nazi outfit.
Not a Nazi outfit. Not any racist shit.
Not. He just had.
What
a hat
about if you dressed up as a terrorist?
Sounds like Steve's got something going on.
I don't know. I never did it.
You used to go to gay dance clubs?
Yes.
Really?
I won some contest at a day dance club once.
Who can
For
shut the biggest cock?
No, the prettiest cock contest. I won like a couple $100.
I think Benji's not lying.
Yeah, I told you about that before.
The Nazi symbols stand for nothing but hate and destruction, and there's no other way to look at it. That's all I have to say about it.
I was sitting at home and then getting tweets and emails about the movie director Kevin Smith bad-mouthing me.
I saw a little bit of that.
I was choosing to ignore it.
What happened between the two of you?
Here's what happened in a nutshell as far as I'm concerned, and it just seems ludicrous. The guy's a weird guy. I mean, I don't really know much about Kevin Smith.
But you were friendly.
Friendly. I had him over to my house one New Year's Eve, my apartment for a party.
That's what I'm talking about.
And even that was weird because after I had him and I was trying to, he was a guy from Jersey and I was trying to develop something of a friendship. He was like, why did Howard have me at his house? It was weird. I don't know. Here's what it was. We used to have him on the show.
Right.
And a nice enough guy. I liked him. I had to ask Gary to refresh my memory even. I don't even, think about it. Anyway, so we'd have him on the show. And the weird move there was that a lot of times his publicist or somebody would call a lot to have him come on the show.
Oh.
So you and I were on the air, and I said, gee, Kevin's publicist is calling a lot. Something to this effect. This is 100 years ago. I said, geez, it's a little much. So he took that as a great insult that that I revealed this.
Oh, dear.
And he made the announcement that he was never coming on our show again.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh, okay. I guess I insulted you. I didn't mean to insult you, but all right, you're insulted, and that's the way you tantrum. Why don't you just call in and say, hey, what's going on? But whatever it was, fine. He agreed. He agreed. He's the one who stopped coming on our show.
Right.
I didn't stop coming on the show. I didn't tell him not to come on the show. He just made a decision. I'm never going on that show again. And then he would do the Opie and Anthony show. He would do the Ima show, according to what Joy Behar has him on, coming up Friday. And she sent me a piece of video of him talking about me.
Okay.
And so he would go on these shows. And he wouldn't really badmouth me, but he'd give me the backhanded badmouth. He'd go, oh, I'm not feuding with Howard. First of all, he is feuding with Howard, but I'm just not feuding back with him. I didn't even know I was in a feud with him. He didn't want to come on the show. Who cares? Who gives a fuck? First of all, I don't really have directors on the show. The only one I'd have on is Ron Howard, who's known as, Opie, and he's also known as Richie Cunningham.
Yeah.
He's well known. He's like Alyssa Milano, He was known more for his acting, and now it's kind of cool that he's a movie director, and he's done some incredible movies, incredible mainstream movies. And I don't really have directors on all that much. I had Ivan on a few times because I know him from Private Parts, obviously, and I have a tremendous affection for him.
James Cameron.
I had him on once. I wish he'd come on again. I mean, this is the guy who made Avatar. That was like a huge thing. And Terminator. I don't know what Kevin, Kevin makes small movies, and it's fine. I got no problem with that.
I actually looked at one of his movies the other day. Didn't even realize I was watching one. It was called Cop Out.
There you go. Good for him. So, he decided not to do my show anymore. So he hasn't been on in years. And so it's been so long that I didn't even remember any of this. I am telling you what Gary told me this morning about the whole thing. And so, he didn't come on, and then he'd go on these shows, and they'd ask him about me. And he would say, in a backhanded kind of way, I don't have a feud with Howard, But, you know, I really like going on shows where they let me talk.
Treat me with respect.
And treat me with respect. So what he's saying is, my show doesn't let anyone talk, and my show doesn't treat him with respect. And I wasn't aware of this, and it's fine. I don't have any problem with Kevin Smith. I think he's a very talented man. He wrote a script for a Superman that I thought was tremendous. I went on the air and talked about it. I don't know. I don't do that for everybody,
Right.
but you know, there was no pleasing him. He's obviously got a bug up his ass. So anyway, so he stopped coming on the show. Fine. I somehow my career succeeded without his help. And anyway, out of the clear blue, like 3 days ago or something, he calls up Gary and announces that he wants to come on the show, and he's free on Wednesday. You know, for this Wednesday, yesterday. He's free in 3 days. So Gary comes to me and he goes, listen, we're all booked up. And Kevin Smith wants to come. I said, well, and he goes, and maybe it'll be interesting because you guys have been having a feud. I said, listen, I what's interesting, I'm not in a feud with Kevin. I don't know Kevin all that well. I tried to develop a friendship with him, and it was awkward. I mean, he started over and over again with, like, why'd you have me to your apartment? I don't know. I thought maybe there'd be a friendship there. I don't know.
Just being nice.
I was just being nice. And he called after 7 years, decided, I want to be on the show, and, you know, clear the decks and let's go. And I said to Gary, well, if you're booked up, I mean, I don't think it's all that interesting to the audience that Kevin hasn't been on the show in 7 years because he decided not to come on.
Nobody was saying whatever happened to Kevin.
Yeah, I mean, and quite frankly, I really don't even know what he's up to. I'm not aware of him all that much. I'm sorry. I mean, the ridiculousness of it is that I'm mad at Kevin because he doesn't put me in his movies. I mean, so now so now it became a thing where he was telling people Howard won't put me on the show. And then he started, Howard's a bully, he's been saying. And I'm like, how did I bully this guy? I don't know. I'm a bully. You know, he started attacking like a tantruming child who says, you know, I can't get on the show. I'm going to attack Howard. And that's like me saying, I'm going to attack Kevin because Kevin hasn't put me in his last 5 movies. I mean, I don't know.
All right, and it's like calling and saying, all right, I'm ready to do my close-up.
Yeah, and I mean, like out of the blue, like he's ready. I'm not. I mean, I'm sorry. Forget it.
I'll be on the set in 10 minutes.
I didn't know I have to be attacked in some weird way. So anyway, when I went on Twitter, everyone was like, you've got to have Kevin Smith. Like, I guess his fans were, you know, you got to have him on. I go, I'm sorry, you know, we're not having him on. And he's happy doing shows. If he's happy doing shows where they're going to let him talk and not ridicule him.
Why come here?
Why come here? Because we could probably say something that might be offensive to him.
Get him all upset.
Right. I don't want to do that. Listen, I really am not in a feud with the man. Gary told me that he had been calling quite a bit. And I don't know, is that such a bad thing to say? And I said, hey, we got to space out the visits.
No, this is what I can say. He never called me, but his
publicist. That's what I explained.
Yeah. But he took it very personally.
Right. So, okay, I'm sorry. If that's offensive, you know, what can I tell you? I apologize, but, you know, that's the way it was.
Well, do you think it was a situation? It could have been a situation where Kevin said, you know, to his publicist, you know, I'm going out, I'm doing some publicity, want to do Howard, want to do this, I want to do that.
Maybe.
And the publicist was really trying to make it happen.
I don't know. How many was he really calling a lot, Gary?
Which time?
The publicist back 7 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, well, he had a lot of, he does a lot of stuff. He does talks, he does movies, he does comics.
Right.
So we would get him pitched fairly often.
Right. So I said, hey, we'll have him on, you know, when we're ready. See, he's not in a feud with me, but now he's bad-mouthing me on the Joy Behar show, talking about that I'm the popular kid, and then you come over and I'm one way to you. I'm two-faced. He has no feud. There's nothing wrong with me. But Howard's two-faced, and when you go on his show, he humiliates you, and he doesn't let you talk. If that doesn't sound like a guy bad-mouthing me, I mean, come out and say you don't like me.
I don't think it's a I don't like you thing. I think he likes you too much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a strange thing to do to a guy you like.
Well, it's when you can't have the girl. You bash the girl.
Well, I tell you what, Kevin, I'm mad at you because you won't put me in your movies. I should have been in every one of your movies.
Now he's going to send you those scripts.
Yeah. you know, that's not right. You won't let me on your movie. It's like, you won't let me on my show. Well, you won't let me on your movie. What is this? We're busy. And now I certainly won't have him
Who
on.
we have on? Beetlejuice?
Yeah. Well, we did. We were busy. No, we had on Jim Brewer yesterday.
Jim Brewer was yesterday.
Yeah. You know, sorry. And I wanted to spend time with Jim. I mean, isn't this something?
Isn't this something?
What is it, Jeff?
Who are you talking about? Kevin who?
I know.
I'm sort of having that feeling over here.
Yeah.
Like, does anybody really care?
Probably not. And that's why I even said, should I bring this up? Because it's probably giving him more attention than it merits. I mean, it's so now I'm going to
It's
be
like, could you explain to
Right.
us who this guy is you're feuding?
Yeah, and now it's going to be like, you know, once I give something energy, then it becomes something. You know what I mean?
But it's really like, wait a minute, you still haven't explained to us who you're talking about.
Exactly. He's a movie director, but
You can't even like name a movie.
well, I'm bad at that, but I'm sure other people could. What is the movie?
Well, he's the guy from Clerks.
Clerks. All right. There he did.
That was in 1994. Right?
But he's known for, you know, being, what is it,
Right.
Bob and Silent J or
Bob
whatever?
and Silent J. Yeah.
Yeah, not the movie he did with Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez.
Nobody knows him for that.
And everyone's waiting to hear him on our show.
You want to know what you talked about with him, Howard, the last time he was on?
What?
I'm looking at the notes. Howard hasn't allowed Kevin on in a while. He wanted to come in, and Howard has been saying no. Howard doesn't think people care about Kevin. Robin is sure they don't. Robin says he's a cult guy. Howard says people in cults don't make any money. And then it says Kevin is no M. Night Shyamalan.
Well, that's funny stuff.
Actually, now he is.
Oh, my God.
Well, listen, I like Kevin.
I do, too. I
do.
enjoy his movies.
Yep.
Is it Kevin who again?
Kevin Smith. Okay. I mean, you woke up after 7 years and decided I'm okay, and you're ready for your moment.
And believe me, I don't mean it as an insult that you still have to explain to the audience who he is.
Right.
It's just, he's not James Cameron.
No. And quite frankly, it's a lot of work to try to describe who someone is, when they're sitting here. And I'm a terrible person because I don't put him on. But then again, he doesn't put me in his movies, so shouldn't I be angry with him?
Like I said, I watched Cop Out.
I'm angry with every director who hasn't put me in a movie.
I watched Cop Out the other day, and I enjoyed it.
There you go. You're gracious. Thank you. What is Cop Out?
It's with Tracy Morgan and Bruce Willis.
There you go. You loved it.
It was cute.
Good. See? Very positive. What can I tell you? I have nothing against the man. He's a very nice guy. I think a very talented guy. Was it cute or you loved it?
It was cute.
Cute. All right. Well, you're cute.
I give it 3
You're
stars.
cute. So that's a compliment. Ay vey. What can I tell you? I was just quite tickled by that yesterday as I was sitting home tweeting. And then all of a sudden I got barraged with Joy Behar, Kevin Smith's fans, about what a dickhead I am for not having him on. And I was like, okay, whatever. What am I going to tell you? I wish Kevin well.
Kevin's doing well.
Yeah,
It's fine.
and I
Everything's
would,
fine.
I would never subject him to this show because we're such hateful people who cut him off and don't let him say what he wants to. You know what? Why come here? It was just so silly. And I know I shouldn't give any of these things attention because when I start giving it attention, then all of a
it
sudden...
becomes something.
Right. If I ignore it, it becomes nothing. And it just feels weird because I have no animosity toward the man. And I'm sorry I broke his heart. You know, I'm not looking to break anyone. I'm not The Bachelor.
You're in this for all the right reasons.
I should say, Kevin, please, please, I'm here for the right reasons. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to do a radio show and earn my living and do what I think is best for my audience. And you're doing what's best for your audience.
Yeah,
That's
he
it.
has to make casting decisions
Right.
when he's shooting a movie. He
Yeah.
can't just let anybody in.
Yeah, I mean, why don't you let Fred be the star of all your movies? I'm mad at you. You won't let Fred be in your movies. I'm making a casting decision. That's exactly what it is. He knows from that. Oh, my goodness.
Not right for this part. There's nothing wrong with you.
Everything is so complicated.
I want to talk about Bill Murray. Fingers crossed, Howard. But they swear that there's a good chance he's calling in today. He's nutty.
Hey, Bill.
Howard.
Look at this.
Bill Murray.
You know Robin.
I met Robin once over by the river.
No, actually, we danced together once.
How do you forget a moment like that, Bill?
We were backstage at a concert. Steve Winwood.
I don't remember that.
How do you forget a moment like that?
Oh, Bill, we were having such a moment.
And what was Bill doing? Did he?
He was backstage on the side of the stage listening to the Stevie Winwood concert and dancing, and we were sort of dancing next to each other.
Slow dancing or fast dancing?
Fast dancing.
How far did you get with her, Bill? Did you kiss her? Did you feel her up?
See, I just remember this one time down by the river.
Ah.
I don't remember the river. What was I on?
Oh, there was some sort of something. I remember temporary trailers or something. There was some sort of a show over by the waterfront on the river there.
It was on the waterfront.
Bill, first of all,
that was it.
let me first say how thrilling it is to actually have you on the show, even if it's by the phone, because I'm a huge fan, and like everyone is, and it's an honor to talk to you.
Well, where are you doing your show from? Whatever happened? You used to be around, and then you went away. What happened?
Disappeared. I'm now in hiding.
Where do you do your show from?
I do it in New York City.
Weren't you doing it from Philly once, or am I imagining that?
No. I used to be on in Philly. We had a syndicated show.
And we used to visit there every once in a while.
And we would visit, but we do the show from New York. Where are you?
I'm down south.
What are you doing? You sound miserable.
No, I just was watching the news, and it's kind of, goofy news.
Were you getting depressed?
It's not depressing. It's just that you find these things out so much faster. Like it was Egypt is already over, and now it's Libya and New Zealand.
Right.
Yeah, who can keep up with it?
And Wisconsin. And and you got to pick one. You got to pick one to be interested.
Which way are you going?
Wisconsin.
Okay.
Bill, are you tortured by show business?
No.
I sometimes get that feeling because this is all based on nothing except from what I read, and I get bits and drips and drabs because, like, whenever I see something about you, I'll read and make sure I'm up on it because I'm always curious. But you always seem to me to be like one of these tortured artists. Like you hate Hollywood. You don't want a manager. You don't want an agent. You don't go by any traditional rules of the business.
You don't live in Hollywood necessarily, do you?
Well, hate is a strong word. It's just what you need. There's a lot of I only lived in Los Angeles one time, and it was for about 9 months. And they have flowers that bloom at night. They have night blooming jasmine. That's really the high point. That's really about as good as it gets. But it's just too crowded, and the quality of life isn't so good. I always like, I come from Chicago.
Right.
And if you're an actor in Chicago, you've either got to go east or west. And so I went east, and I ended up in New York, and I like New York. I mean, I like the energy of it. In Los Angeles, you have to be sort of a self-starter, and I'm a basically lazy person. So I needed to bump into people to actually have, thoughts enter my brain, sort of creative ones.
Do you think that there's something unusual about you that most people who are in your business, filmmaking, they would almost be paranoid not to have a way to be reached? You've completely secluded yourself. In other words, I mean, I've read every famous story about you where you'll get offered a movie and for months you won't even hear about it because no one can get a hold of you and no one can get a commitment from you.
Well, I'm on your show this morning, so it's not like I'm in deep hiding. It's not like Bin Laden or anything. But it's I've just found that if you had an agent, your agent will say to their secretary, "Get me Bill Murray, call him." And they will call your house, and they'll let the phone ring forever.
Right.
Forever. And you're sitting there in the house going, I don't want to answer the phone. And the phone will ring 79 times. And you think, what kind of person would do that to anyone? And it's just someone that is afraid to walk into the office and say, I can't reach him. They'll let it ring until lunch.
But I would think you would want the offer because let's say it's a great movie.
Why don't you want to answer the phone?
I mean, I've heard you've missed out on actual good movies because they can't get a hold of you.
Nah.
Not true.
Well, you tell me the good movies I missed out on, and I'll let you know. There's been a couple that, would have been, that I knew were going to be good movies, but, I would trade the lack of irritation for the odd movie. I don't think I've missed anything. I think if people really want you, they find you. So
Right. And how does one go about finding you? In other words, if there's no publicist to call, let's say I have a script that I think is great for Bill Murray.
Well, Howard, you're just going to have to devote the rest of your life to that.
I have to chase you down.
Yeah.
No,
But I think that's interesting that he says if they want you, they find you. There's very few people in Hollywood who think somebody's looking for them.
That's true.
Well, that's a thought.
Well, I'll tell you what. I read a story about, like after Saturday Night Live, the thing I read was that even originally Ghostbusters was written for Belushi. Belushi died, and then they said, hey, let's get Bill Murray.
Uh-huh.
And then after the huge success of Ghostbusters, Bill was offered, this is crazy to me, you were offered the role of Han Solo in Star Wars.
I don't know. Maybe.
You don't remember that?
I never heard that one. I like the job Harrison Ford did. I'm happy with him. I hear these stories all the time. It's I was offered the Pope, being Pope too. I turned it down. They just couldn't reach me.
I mean, that's really true. You've only heard that story, but you never heard someone say to you, "I want you to be Han Solo."
Well, the papacy can be a hassle. I've heard that one lately, Han Solo. I heard Batman too. But these are all just.
Do you think you're a genius?
No. I mean, genius. No. I mean, I'm pretty good at what I do. I'm as good as anyone in my neighborhood.
Was the highlight of your career Saturday Night Live in the sense that you got to go on every week and do a comedy sketch, get it right on the air? I mean, movies maybe frustrate a guy like you. You're so good at improvisation.
No, movies really suit my attention span. You've got to do a take for 90 seconds or so. That's about as long as I can hold it together. But Saturday Night Live was really, I won't say anything about it except it was great fun.
It was?
But I was just still, I was just getting better. It was a great education, Saturday Night Live. Just like Second City was a great education. So that's really the, if any, calling someone a genius is like, yeah, right. But I really had great teachers and great education. So when I came out of those two places, if you really did Saturday Night Live for a few years, you can pretty much do anything.
Yeah.
And the Second City thing on top of that, it just made you very, sort of responsible for what you do, and you don't take yourself too seriously. So.
Were you in that same weird boat that when you got to Saturday Night Live? I remember your boat was the weirdest because Chevy left, you had to take over. And everyone hated you at first because they just wanted the original cast and no one wanted to give you a chance. Do you recall it being like that?
Well, like you say, hate is a strong word.
Right.
But, there were a lot of people that were funny on the show. I was basically the second cop for the first, few months I was there anyway.
Right.
So it wasn't like anyone was getting, was losing sleep over me.
But was it a horrible experience and pressure to sort of have to prove yourself to the world and say I'm worthy?
It's not dissimilar to like when I first went into Second City, when you're the new guy on the stage and no one wants to work with you because you're an unknown quantity. They want to just work with the writers want to write at Saturday Night Live, wanted to write for the people they knew. They didn't know me. So
did you end up writing most of your own material?
Well, I ended up writing some. I mean, that's how I sort of broke through a little bit, as I wrote something with Tom Davis. And
did you ever go to Lorne Michaels and say, I find this impossible, no one wants to work with me, can you help me with this? Or did you just sit there and suck it up and take it?
Well, yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? He's got other things to do than worry about me.
That's a good attitude.
Yeah.
I would have gone crying and say, no one wants to play with me.
You're an emotional slob.
I am.
Yeah.
Do you like Lorne Michaels?
Yeah. Yeah, he's a complicated character, and he really has gotten really, really good at that job. I mean, as good as he was back then, he's a million times better at it now. He really is good at the job.
And because his strength is he finds people, puts them together, and keeps that show on the air.
Well, he keeps the people together, which is really the hard part. I mean, there are infamous people in the comedy world that had all the talent and alienated them, and they went away. But he's managed to keep good people, good writers, good actors, and good technicians. I mean, good cameramen, good lighting guys. That's a tough building to keep all the best guys in one room.
Do you still watch the show?
I'm not very regular. You know, when you work on Saturday Night Live, and when you work on Saturday Night for years, you're kind of pleased to have it off. You know what I mean?
Are you? Why? Because, in other words, it brings back bad memories, or you just
no, it's just that it's Saturday night. You know, it's sort of free. But I watch it. I catch up with it. I'm not as organized as sitting through it. It's pardon me. It's a lot easier to like my friend Jim Downey will make discs of. He'll just send me a disc of. You got to see these ones, and he'll send me discs of the best sketches and so forth. But I think they're.
He sends you sketches that he thinks are good. Does he send you any that he thinks are bad?
Why would he do that?
Well,
No,
because
he's he's not like that at all. He doesn't say, "Look at this crap."
He doesn't.
No, he's one of the funniest people in the world, and he's, Lauren. That's one guy that Lauren has kept on the show since I was there. We started the same week.
Are you upset that Lauren gets to repackage these shows and sort of redistribute them through CDs, DVDs, the specials, and constantly take your work and do it over and over again? And I would imagine you get no residuals for that, right?
Well, I don't think about the residuals too much. I mean, I just hope that everyone that needs money will have it, you know.
But do you get paid from that?
Well, I got a check once for 1 cent.
Right, and I believe
I really did. I
Right.
really got a check for 1 cent once.
What
But I don't pay. I don't pay a lot
logic?
of attention to those things, and I know that someone's making real money on it, and we kid about how we've created a college fund for Lauren's kids, but he's worked very hard, and he's been very he has to take the credit for getting the show made. He has to take the credit, and there's people making money. There's at all levels of it. I just hope that everyone all the actors and all the writers that ever need money, and whenever that becomes the case, Lauren makes sure that everyone's okay.
Do you think he's doing that? I think you're saying that somewhat sarcastically. In other
No,
words,
I'm not saying it sarcastically. I'm saying
he's
that
not going to some of the old writers who are probably living in a.
he's a nice Jewish boy from Toronto, and you can, he's vulnerable to guilt, and when people need help, he helps them.
Does he do that?
That's to my knowledge, he does. I mean, I've seen it happen. I know that it's happened.
Is there a reason?
I mean, he could spend all day looking for people to help out.
Is there a reason you don't host Saturday Night Live more often? I mean,
I've done it a couple times. I like this group they have now. I think the group they have now is very, very, very good. I like these actors. These are the best actors since the first group, I think, this group they've got.
Are you in touch with Aykroyd?
Yeah.
You like him?
Yeah, he's my friend for life.
The only one, another guy who's so brilliant, I feel he's underutilized. Do you sense his frustration at all when you speak to him?
Well, he has a different life. He has a much more interesting life than many people. He has a lot of interests.
I know, with the aliens.
Not just vodka. I mean, he's selling this vodka, this Skull bottled vodka.
I know. I have some of it.
All right. Well, he has a lot of different kinds of interests. He's sort of, he's kind of interested in the English history, and the life of the old English people. And
in other words, he doesn't need show business to keep him happy. He has so many interests.
He has a lot of, he's interested in ghosts, for heaven's sake. He's in that whole paranormal world. He has a lot of different interests. He reads a lot. He likes to get on the road. He likes cars.
The one guy you didn't like was Chevy. That's it, right? The other ones you like.
I'm okay with Chevy.
I heard
Chevy
you're not.
and we had our dust up on the show, but that was almost Oedipal, or I don't know what the hell that was. That was Greek, whatever that was.
Do you see him now? You don't see him, though.
I see him. I see him. I see him at least, usually once a year. I haven't seen him in a little bit, but that's because I've been busy. But he's funny. I mean, Chevy is funny. And Chevy in life is funnier than almost everyone. He can really make just walking around funny.
So no animosities.
Huh?
Did you make love?
Well, that's what I wanted to...
Bill, did you make love to all of the women on the show? Gilda.
Oh, yes, of course.
You did. Were you?
He's not being serious.
Of course he is.
No, there's a couple dying when I say that. No.
You didn't make love to any of the women on the show, or you got some of them?
Oh, well, it was a different time. When love was important. Love is not important any longer. We know that. It's just about money.
Is it really? Are you bitter from all your marriages and divorces?
No.
You are not, but that sounded like a bitter statement. It's all about...
Oh, no, I was making a joke.
I don't think so.
Sometimes we make the jokes. It was just they were women are funny and men are funny. Ask a woman, they'll tell you men are weird, and you ask a man, they'll say women are strange. But I like women. I'm okay with women. They're challenging. But
are you a tough guy to be in a relationship with?
I don't know. I mean,
I think you're eccentric. Right?
I don't think so. I don't think so, Howard. I don't think I'm eccentric.
Well, we read these things every once in a while about you in a golf
Well, you
cart.
can't believe what you win. You can't believe what you hear in the paper all the time.
All right, but let me understand something.
I think I'm a barrel of monkeys.
Like I had Ron Howard in here. Okay, this is an example of where you get the reputation of being difficult. Ron Howard's in here. We're talking about movies and stuff. And there was this story about how you had a script that you loved.
Yeah.
You went to Ron Howard and you
Right.
said, Ron, I want you to direct this script.
I knew this would come back to haunt me. Yeah, go on.
No, and he read it and he said, Bill, it's not for me. I don't want to direct this film. And you were so upset with him that it's completely ruined your relationship with Ron Howard. True or false?
Well, false, because I never really had a relationship with Ron Howard.
Oh.
But I liked his movie. I think he made a movie called Eat My Dust or something like that. He directed, or Jackson County Line or something like that.
Right.
He directed a movie, and I thought, hey, that's good. That's pretty good. He can do this. So I went with him with this movie called Quick Change.
Right.
Which is a movie we ended up shooting in New York. And I said, why don't you do this? And he said, I don't get it. There's no one to root for. And I thought, that's the craziest Hollywood jive ever. I mean, and I shouldn't say jive, but that's like a term that doesn't spring from any place.
Right.
For me, and I just thought, well, that didn't make any sense to me. And I was chagrined to hear that, because if like guys driving fast on dirt roads is somebody to root for, and this one wasn't, I see I can compare them.
All right, but it's fair to say
I like him, and he's a nice person.
Yes, and it's fair to say that. Hey,
and I enjoyed him in The Shootist with John Wayne too.
Yes.
He's had a very long and very successful career.
But
and
Bill,
that was just an instant. It was a moment.
But it is fair to say that someone might not get the script. For whatever reason, it wasn't his cup of tea.
Well, yeah, but it was what he said.
You felt it was.
He didn't. It wasn't like I got a pass on it. It was like there's no one to root for, and that was just the one that was just landed funny. It was like a boomerang inside your mouth.
So you have to be careful what you say to Bill Murray. Like if I was hanging out with you, you will evaluate me because you can detect horseshit when you hear it.
Well, everyone thinks they can. Everyone thinks they can.
I see.
Now, do you remember the one time we were photographed together?
I have it hanging on my wall.
That's hilarious. And the third person in the picture is
Governor Cuomo.
I tell that to people, they can't believe it.
This was the craziest thing.
It was a Live at 5 moment,
I was
right?
so nervous. I was Live at 5, which is a local NBC show in New York. It's the news show. And the guests that day were me. It was Governor Cuomo.
Yeah, he was the governor at the time.
And Bill Murray. And I was so nervous because for some reason I've always felt that Bill Murray hated me. And I don't know why. I don't have anything to base it on, Bill. But for some reason, I got very intimidated. Number one, I admire him greatly. And Governor Cuomo, I was sure didn't like me. And then all of a sudden we took a picture, but you didn't seem to be thrilled to be taking the picture. The governor didn't seem to be thrilled, and I was a nervous wreck. Do you detect? Was there a problem with me between us?
No, we don't have a problem, Howard. I just want to remind you that when we posed for the picture, the guy who was the most uncomfortable was Cuomo, and when it first was set up, it was left to right. It was myself, and then you, and then Mario, and Mario actually said, "Here, Bill, you get in the middle."
Right, I do remember that. That's true. He didn't want to stand next to me.
Right, he needed something.
Yeah, that was very well. Now you know.
Buffer.
Well, Bill, now you know my life.
It was everything I could do to hold it together because I thought, God, this guy is a master.
Howard,
yeah.
Do you remember what happened? So it was Mario Cuomo, Bill, and you. Yeah. And Jerry Knappman walked by. Do you remember what he said?
No, what did he say?
He goes, "The decline of Western civilization."
Bill, is it true? And I want to. There's a reason Bill's calling in. I'm going to get to that, but I have so many questions. Can you hang with me a little bit?
All right.
Okay. Is it true that there is a Ghostbusters 3 and you're the problem? You will not sign off on this? Do you know about this?
Yeah, I guess I'm the problem. Before I was an asset. Now I'm a problem. There's a script somewhere over there. Over there, there's a script, and I haven't read it yet. But there.
Why haven't you read it? Because you think that that's a bullshit idea. That in other words, Ghostbusters had its time, and you did a remarkable job with that, and now you've moved
There's
on.
a little bit of that. I only made one sequel, and it was Ghostbusters 2, and it didn't end up. Pardon me. It didn't end up the way it was presented. About 5 years after we did the first one, the clever agents got us all together in a room, and we really are funny together. I mean, they are funny people, Harold and Danny and myself, and it was Ivan and maybe one or two other people, and we were just really kind of blindingly funny for about an hour or so, and the agents there was just foam coming off of them, and so we, they had this pitch, and Danny and Harold had already, concocted some sort of, story idea, and it was a story, and it was a good story. I think I'd even already read one or two that Danny had rolled out before that, but this one was a good one. I said, okay, we could do that one. And it was just kind of fun to have all of us together. And I mean, there's some really, Rick Moranis and Annie Potts. These people are they're sterling people to begin with.
So how do you go back and really make another? I mean, does Ivan want to make that film?
Yeah, Ivan wants to make it, and he's I owe him he's puzzled that I haven't gotten to this one.
How long has it been sitting on your desk, this script for Ghostbusters?
Well, it may not be on the desk. It's over there somewhere. It's how long?
Yeah,
I don't know.
So you're never.
So
gonna
you
read
have
it.
no interest.
Well, I'll get to. I got to get to. I feel badly. I got a message that, and I think people. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. It's not like the foremost thing in my mind right now. So I don't think about it. But it's. The studio gets excited about it every 10 years or so, or it seems like, and they get rid of it because what they'd really like to do is recreate the franchise.
Right.
I remember once upon a time it was going to be, and the new Ghostbusters will be Chris Rock, Chris Farley, and Chris Crane or Chris Kringle or someone. They had it together.
Is that a threat to you? In other words, do they try to threaten you by saying we're going to put together new Ghostbusters and therefore you guys will have to go do it? Is that the?
Well, it's not a threat. It's it's sort of businesslike. They'd like to keep it going. I mean, it's still an amazing. There are still kids today that watch this movie and love it. It's still very popular. So they still sell a lot of toys and everything. So,
do you see the money from that? Are you a very wealthy guy?
Oh, I've been. I save.
Are you worth over $100 million?
I never think it's real nice to talk about money.
Why is that?
I'm okay though. My phone bill is paid and my rent's paid. And
where did the bulk of your money come from? After something like Saturday Night Live hits, you don't make a lot of money from Saturday Night Live.
Not any longer, no.
And I'm assuming
you have a limited. The residuals burn out very quickly on television.
So I'm assuming like even Ghostbusters, you probably had a crappy deal because you were new to the movies.
I wasn't that new, Howard. I never really had a crappy deal in the movies, except unless we didn't work with a friend.
Do you have the merchandising on Ghostbusters? Did you get a piece of that action?
Well, when you're part of something like that, it's all part of everything.
So that's where you made the big money. I mean, I'm thinking of some of the movies you've made that are quite incredible. I'm talking about Stripes, right?
Yes.
To me, one of the best. Do you make money? Is that where you made the bulk of your money?
Well, all actors that are in movies get paid.
Yeah, but
whenever they're on.
You know, a lot of that money goes out the window.
Well, I know, but there are people that there are organizations that if you made a movie a long time ago and it's on TV, you get paid something for it.
I got a check just the other day.
If you make enough movies and you have an interest in it, you should be okay if you don't, start buying too many houses. Or
yeah, but you invest in stuff like, didn't you buy several minor league baseball teams?
Well, I'm in that business, yeah.
Is that a money maker?
Is that a good business?
That seems like a crummy business to me.
Well,
is it good?
It's the baseball business is a good business, Howard.
Oh,
is it really?
Yeah.
So you are a good businessman.
Well, I'm pretty good in my own business. I'm a pretty good businessman. Yeah.
Were you?
Who would think to invest in baseball?
Not me. What do I know? But you said Bill's really into sports.
He loves sports.
He loves it. Loves the golf. Loves all that. He's a real man. I'm such a woman.
Well, speaking of business, Howard, this
Yeah.
brings up my question.
All right,
Are you still driving that Sterling?
A Sterling?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Weren't you like plugging the Sterling automobile relentlessly for a couple of years? I've always laughed about this because you were like, you would get on your show and talk about this car that you were driving. It's called a Sterling.
No, that wasn't me. I don't know anything about cars.
Wait a minute.
He hardly drives.
I mean, I do read live commercials, so maybe that.
No. You had a Sterling. Do you remember?
I don't even know what it is.
It was an English car.
No.
And it was made on the same sort of chassis as a Honda.
Not me.
All right, we're going to do the research on this. I'm sure you'll be getting calls, but you used to plug this goofy car, and I used to laugh about
Really?
it.
Never.
This is the
That was an
finest
advertisement.
automobile I've ever driven in
No,
my life.
Fred-
And I go like, what the hell is with this guy?
Fred just told me it's an it was an advertisement.
You were plugging this thing relentlessly.
Yeah, well, I'm
we're
sure.
being
I mean,
paid.
that's the way I get paid. You know, it was crazy. I mean, it was probably a sponsor you're talking.
But you don't have you don't have one of these in a garage somewhere?
No,
You're
no,
kidding.
no.
You didn't have one in every color?
No, I don't even like to drive. I hate the whole thing.
I don't know. Well, in New York, you don't need to drive so much, but it is the best place to drive.
The whole thing seems dangerous to me.
Mm-hmm.
Bill, are you an angry guy? For some reason, I feel like it's out there that you're. First of all, you come from. You have 9 children in your family, right?
Oh, he's one of 9.
Yeah, one of 9. I feel like when you grow up in a family that large, you get very little attention.
Well, how many siblings did you have? Howard?
1.
Were you an only child?
No, I had 1 sibling.
Oh, okay.
No, seriously, wasn't it horrible to grow up around that many kids and not get the attention of your mother and father?
Well, people would say that's what the middle child syndrome is, that one ends up having to work hard,
Right.
to get some attention. So I had to work pretty hard to get some attention. You have to work pretty hard to get attention in a house with a lot of kids, period.
Are you in therapy?
No.
Have you ever had therapy?
Yeah, I got depressed once.
Yeah, I thought I remembered a bout of depression with you.
What were you depressed
Is that
about?
a joke? You remember the bout
No,
of depression
I
with me?
remember reading that Bill Murray suffers from depression.
You do?
I don't think so. But,
What happened when you went to the
suffer from
shrink?
depression. I basically worked my way through. It wasn't like a shrink. It was just, life just gets a little complicated sometimes, and
You mean with the broads?
Well, with women, and you get.
Well, I'm being
it gets
Frank Sinatra.
complicated, and you have to figure out, what the hell. Why are you behaving this way?
Will you ever get married again, or are you completely turned off to marriage?
Well, I don't know if I'm completely turned off to anything, but I'm not on eHarmony.com. I'll tell you that.
How many times has he been married?
I don't even know. Bill, what's the story?
He has been married 2 times.
Oh, twice.
Oh.
You must have dated like a maniac, though. When you during Saturday Night Live, was it one big sexual orgy? I'm talking about the groupies.
I'm surprised we ever went to work.
Are you serious?
No, there's a lot of work, but it was a different time then, and it was fun, and you have a lot of energy. You go around.
A lot of drugs.
And I never had a big drug thing particularly. No, I mean you can't most people when they say drugs they mean like cocaine and so forth. You can't be funny. It just destroys your timing.
And you would worry about that. In other words, you were like, "Hey, this is something
far more important than I never." And the cocaine, was not. It sort of makes you go real fast in neutral, real high in neutral. But it destroys your timing. And when they're written up on the wall, the comedians that ruin their lives and their timing by doing cocaine.
Was it your idea to be on Saturday Night Live to be the guy who does the songs and sings? The
lounge singer.
The lounge singer. Was that your concept?
Well, I wasn't the first to sing, and
no, but
it
you
was
know what I
something
mean.
that I did a long time ago at Second City. I did it once, and there's a kind of a performer thing that's fun to do, and I like doing it. It turned out to be really a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, but I see tons of people imitating that bit. In other words, it's probably the most imitated comedy bit. everybody takes a song, like a rock song, and then starts to be the lounge singer. That's uniquely you. And whenever I see someone doing it, it disturbs me. I go, that's Bill Murray. You know, what is that?
Well, it's just kind of fun to get it out there in the world. I mean, like I've got sons that watch, like, the Anchorman movie, and they just do bits from it. People do bits from movies. I realize that now, that people do bits from my movies, bits from Will Ferrell's movies, and they just like certain things that resonate in the moment. Like something will happen, and they'll just sort of spit out a line.
It's iconic, that bit. I'm
from
telling
a movie,
you. Yeah.
And so they'll do it, or they'll see someone do a kind of like greasy piece of entertaining, and they'll go off on something that harmonizes with it. So,
Bill, talk to me about the sex for 1 minute, because I'm running out of time here, and I want to talk about Get Low also, which is available today on DVD. But first of all, just talk to me about the sex. Did you have tons of famous women, and are famous women better than, let's say, regular women?
Well, I just think the only thing about, when you talk about famous or whatever, it's like tons of women. The thing that's interesting about being famous with women is that women will speak to you.
Yes.
They'll talk to you.
It's a groundbreaker.
And it's not necessarily that, I'm gonna end up with sex because I'm famous. It's more interesting to talk to women. I mean, I'm not putting sex down in any way, but it's just kind of interesting to get women to start talking without having to be, some sort of safe cracker or, kind of like clever,
It's an icebreaker.
It's just easy to allow women to speak because of the sort of sexual game that's played all the time.
Yes,
people don't really show themselves to you. So
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
No, I'm saying I'm not an attractive man, and I walk into a room.
No,
and
by no means.
By no means am I attractive, but you'll agree to that.
Wow.
And I walk into a room, and women are willing to speak to me because they feel they know me already, and they feel safe in a sense.
Yeah, and that's when you're 22 or something, that's not very important. But you realize as time goes on how important that is, not just to
but did you
not
get
just
to
have
enjoy,
a conversation,
but
to really sort of put you on the planet, to ground you on the planet, that people are actually speaking directly and honestly. It's very refreshing.
But so Bill, are you trying to imply that he got a lot of the hosts of the show?
How many female hosts of the show did you bang? And then go through a laundry list of women that we would all know and share with us some of their sexual desires.
Yeah, I know.
Go ahead, Bill.
No, that's like saying what your favorite golf course is. That's not polite. You're not supposed to do that.
Of course you're not supposed to, but do it anyway.
But there are ones that I'm crazy about the ones I'm really crazy about are the ones I didn't, I remember when Sissy Spacek was on the show, I thought she was like, and she still is really handsome, but I was crazy about Sissy Spacek because
so why not have sex with her?
Well, that was sort of my thought.
Right. She didn't want any sex with you?
Too proper for that, but boy, she was great fun, and her husband is like a very happy guy.
Yes, well,
because she is a pot belly still. She really is.
Well, listen, Bill called in today. Listen, you need to come in here live and let me get a hold of you, and I will interview you.
Will that ever happen?
Will that ever happen, Bill? Do you think one day you'll walk in here?
I mean, isn't it amazing? I'm on your show.
It's amazing. In fact, I've heard stories.
How long you've been doing your show a while, and I've never been on.
I mean, I'm doing it like 35 years, and you've avoided me. But I'll tell you what.
Well, you wake up so early.
Well,
Who the hell wants to get up at that hour, and then you went away. You used to be on the radio.
No, I'm on the radio.
We're on satellite.
But we're on satellite. It's not real radio. You're absolutely right. But, Bill.
So how's this working out for you? Yeah, go ahead. I'm supposed to...
Yes.
Go ahead, you ask me.
First of all, Bill Murray is promoting Get Low, which is available today on DVD and Blu-ray. Do you want to say something about that, Bill?
Did you see it?
I saw it. It's great.
Why have I not seen this?
You could see it. It's on. You probably had an
What is it
opportunity
about?
to see it.
It's a movie that I made last year. It came out this year, actually. I made it in Georgia, and the star of the movie is Robert Duvall, and Sissy Spacek is in the film. And it's one of the best movies I've made.
It is a great movie.
All right, I'll tell you what. I will get Low and I will watch it, and I will recommend that my audience
He
do.
plays a funeral director.
Yeah, we thought. I think they thought. It was a Sony movie, but I think they thought it was going to get nominated for some Oscars. You know, they thought not so much myself, but certainly Robert's performance is off. It's better than anything that I've witnessed. Better than anything I've worked with.
He's an amazing actor.
He is. But in this particular thing, this turn he did in this, I can't believe he didn't get nominated for an Oscar. It's just,
Well, you hate the Oscars, don't you?
I don't hate the Oscars.
Yes, you do. In 2004, you did a movie called Lost in Translation, which you were brilliant in. Sean Penn, you went to the Oscars as much as you didn't want to because you're not a big fan of the Oscars. Sean Penn won for Mystic River, and afterwards you said you were angry that Sean Penn won. You felt you should have won, and you were pissed off at yourself for going to the Oscars. You true?
Well, that's not really correct.
It's a good story.
You could argue that, I was just sort of thinking, I won all the prizes up to it. I won every other award. I was just a little surprised, I suppose. But by the same token, Howard, and I think Sean Penn's been better in other movies than he was in Mystic River.
You felt you deserved it. You deserved the Oscar.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know.
You wanted it, though.
There are a lot better actors than Robert Duvall, for one.
Yeah, but you wanted.
I saw guys win. I saw like Kevin Costner win an Oscar over Paul Scofield. Then I thought to myself, now, hang on, because, hang on here. But I found even being nominated for an Oscar was like having a small, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but it's almost like having a small virus for a while, because you get a real kind of weird, inflated sense of yourself. And about 6 months after the Oscars, and I hadn't won, I realized, wow, I was kind of like mildly sick there. I had a condition I didn't even know about.
Wow.
And I realized that it's sort of an infection to be nominated for an Oscar. I mean, it's an honor and everything, but it's real subtle, kind of like ego poisoning. It makes you just a little too.
But
so
you
I was
get
glad.
caught up.
So
Why
now
do
I'm
I
glad
like-
I didn't win because
No, you're not.
I wasn't ready to do it. Oh, I absolutely.
Bill,
am. And you know
listen,
what?
I
The
find
funny
it
thing is,
charming.
Enough people saw the Oscars. They think I won. You'd be surprised how many people think I won.
No, but I find it charming. I find it charming that you got angry because it shows you really do care. Because you come off as such a relaxed guy. The fact that you actually cared if you won the Oscar shows me how human you are, and that's a good thing.
I think it's you kind of want to you don't want to compete like to be better than or something. You just want to do your best. Like an actor says, I'm doing this well. I'm going to try and do that well.
Did you? Did you congratulate Sean Penn when he won, or did you walk away in a huff?
I didn't go in. I went to the party afterwards.
You did?
Yeah, sure.
Did you get laid that night?
Probably.
Isn't that a great thing? Right?
Yeah.
He doesn't even remember. It's such a,
Yeah, it was a tough night.
Did you rack up tremendous amounts of numbers in terms of women? I'm not asking you to brag. Was it in the hundreds or thousands? Are you Gene Simmons?
Oh, God.
I mean, really, Bill.
Now, who's Eugene Simmons?
Not Eugene.
Not
Gene.
you. Gene Simmons of Kiss is always talking about how many women. Did you have many, many women?
Well, I had a couple really good ones. That's the best thing.
Did you have Sigourney Weaver?
No.
It's a shame.
Well,
I could see you two kids.
She was too good for me, but we could have, but she's a powerhouse of a woman. She's a great woman.
Do you hate getting older?
No, it's okay.
I'm not thrilled with it.
Well, I read a good thing written by Henry Miller once that was an essay entitled "On Turning 80." He turned 80 years old, and people said, and he writes in it that, 80 years old, that's what? And he said, well, what people don't understand that are younger is when you're 80, you act 80 years old. But you're also capable of acting 40 years old and 22 years old and 15 years old. So you just contain all these other ages inside of you. You can still act like an infant. You can still act like an adolescent. You can still act like a kid.
And you like that. But your body physically, when it begins to, like, you love sports, it's harder to hit the ball.
You can't do the things even as a comedian you used to do.
Right.
Well, I don't know about that.
Oh, I'm just asking.
How dare you, Robin? Bill.
I don't know about that.
What about Groundhog?
I may bark a little bit after I play basketball. But
Bill, Groundhog Day. I love this movie so much. But did you like Andie MacDowell or did you hate her?
Well, I like her more now. Back then, she used to drive me crazy because I used to wait for her hair.
Yeah. In other words,
she does have the best hair you've ever seen in your life. Better than your hair, Howard. She's
well,
got unbelievable hair.
It's similar to my hair. It looks like actual bees. It's like a beehive hairdo, I remember. So, in other words, you would get aggravated because you really are the star of that movie. You made that movie fly, and you're sitting there ready to act. You're ready to do your thing. You feel energized, and you're sitting in your goddamn trailer waiting for this woman's hair to get done. Am I correct?
Well, it was a hard, it's just, I had to do a lot of work on it. I was probably a little, there was maybe a little more going on than just that, but.
What do you mean?
When I look at the movie now, and I just remember one day where I had a scene with Andy, and I had to eat, I was stuffing cake into my mouth. I made the choice that I was going to be eating large pieces of cake through the scene.
Right.
And Andy kept blowing her lines, and it drove me crazy because I probably ate somewhere in the neighborhood of 40,000 calories worth of cake. And I'm not a barfer, so there I was with all this cake in me.
Right.
And I do this scene, and I do it really great, and Annie didn't know her lines, and I was very frustrated. But when I look at the movie now, it really is I look and I went, God dang, look at that.
It's a masterpiece.
It really is. It is a great movie, and she's great in it.
She is. Yeah. But I hear what you're saying. With movies, they can save you. You can do 500 takes. But as the guy who has to be funny, and you've done something good.
Yeah, as the guy that had to eat the cake, I was not happy.
And so did it come down to that you wouldn't even speak to her?
No, that's not. You can't get movies done not speaking to people. You've got to get, no matter what kind of person you're working with, you've got to get results.
Did you sleep with her?
No.
Gwyneth Paltrow?
No, I wish I did.
Scarlett Johansson?
Gwyneth Paltrow's she's the most attractive girl I've met.
She is sexy, right?
Better than Scarlett Johansson.
Gwyneth Paltrow is like a big human being. She's a really extraordinary person in many ways, and she's really kind too.
You wish you could make love to her?
Oh, I don't think about it. She's dating.
Oh,
no,
please.
she's got a husband and kids. I don't think about it.
Big deal.
She's a really wonderful girl.
I tell you, I could talk to you all day. I'm not going to hold you here all. But Bill Murray has a movie out, Get Low. It's available today on DVD and Blu-ray. It stars
Robert Duvall.
Bobby D. Which Bobby D is a better actor, De Niro or Duvall, or you can't even separate them?
Well, you don't. That's. I don't like to live in a world of comparison. I've worked with them both, and they're both really great.
Right.
I'm probably friendlier along with Bobby D than with Bobby. So
I see.
But I've known Bobby De Niro a long time, and I'm friendly with him, and we've shared a lot of things. Robert Duvall is a character. He's an absolute character. I think his but I will say his performance in this movie is the best I've ever witnessed. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think you're eccentric in the sense that, like, I've read that you show up to people's parties randomly. You're not invited. I'm not talking about celebrity parties. I'm talking about people.
He just shows up at a person's house?
You just show up at people's homes. Is that true or false?
Well, as long as you bring something, it's the people that don't bring anything that are
Bill, that's wild.
You can crash a party.
A nice bottle of wine or champagne or something. People are like, oh, I guess I did invite him. They don't even remember. He looks familiar. I must know him. It's like that.
Wow.
As long as you behave well and you're willing to, dance, people are okay with you at a party, and if you pick up after yourself and you're polite. It's mostly about manners. I try to stress to my own boys, and I really do believe that, whatever your parents taught you about manners is the secret to most everything.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. See, this is why I got to get Bill in here.
Yeah.
I could tie him down and get these answers. Do you have a girlfriend right now?
No.
Nothing. When's the last time you got laid?
It was a weekday.
A long time? Have you gone a half a year without sex?
Huh? I think I may have done it once. I may have done that once. No, I'm not. It's.
You're not that hung up
celibate.
on it.
It's like landscaping. Yeah, no, you've got to, even in the winter, you have to do something.
Well, I just wonder what's going on over there. I got to find out. But what is it, Gary?
The movie people wanted us to know that he's up for an Independent Spirit Award this weekend.
Oh, really?
You didn't even know that.
Yeah,
I
knew I was nominated. I didn't realize it was this weekend. That means the Oscars are very close.
Yes, they are.
Does that mean you're going to go to the Independent Spirit Awards or not?
Well, I'm hearing this right now. Kind of sudden.
What does that mean to be up? Isn't there an award ceremony?
here's the deal.
Don't you feel Bill should go?
If memory serves me correct, if the Oscars are the Oscars this Sunday, I think they're so the Spirit Awards are this Saturday.
Okay.
The
And it
Spirit
is
Award.
a televised
It's a televised event. Yeah, it's become a big
Bill,
deal.
if you don't go, I'll go as a representative of you.
You'll
and
accept the award if he wins?
You want me to accept for you?
Well, if no one else is there may be a couple of other people from the film that'll be there, and they might just run up and grab it for me. But I don't even know. I've won a couple of those, and they're nice. It's a nice party. It's a good party. It's a much more relaxed party and more fun than the Oscars party. The Oscars party is pretty crazy.
Do you display awards? Do you have a whole trophy case?
They're all just sort of up in a corner, up on
That's
the wall.
the cool thing. If I
They're
ever got
up on a shelf.
That's the cool thing. If I ever got an award, like a cool award, Bill's got awards, I would keep them like in a shitty place and like almost like I didn't care.
They're just there.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, those things. Yeah, I should put those in the garbage. To have a display case.
Oh, it's very
bad. Very gauche.
embarrassing.
Listen, Bill Murray, I would put my awards in the towel closet. You would see. Listen, Bill, get in here one day. I know it's early for you. Come on in. Let's have a civilized discussion.
Be fun.
Well, you sound good, Howard. It's nice to speak to you, and I'm glad it's going. How's this serious thing working out?
The serious thing is working out wonderfully. I've got to tell you, it is the most creative freedom I've ever had. And despite the fact that you think I disappeared, we have millions of followers here. It's a new medium, and the people that I work for here are very, very pleasant, and they really don't get involved, and they let us do our thing. And there's no interference from the government, so I love it.
Well, good for you. I'm glad that worked out.
I'm happy.
It was kind of. I know a lot of people don't have Sirius, and I would hear you occasionally in a rent-a-car. Right. That's where I'd get you. But,
great.
Unless you're renting a car.
Well, you could get me on your smartphone now.
And I was conflicted because it used to be XM and Sirius.
Right.
And now they're one, right?
That's right. They're one.
Yeah, and I really came down as an XM guy because it had Major League Baseball, and I really wanted to hear the out-of-town baseball games.
Well, now we're
they're all
both
together.
Well, you can get us on this. Do you have a smartphone?
Not really.
See, you're like an anti-technology.
Does he carry a cell phone?
Do you have a cell phone?
Yeah, I have one now. It's a BlackBerry.
You got email?
No, I'm not an email guy.
Look at you.
See?
This is crazy. I love all this new technology.
You're certainly not on Facebook or Twitter.
You on Twitter? What's your name? I'll follow
There are
you.
guys. There's someone named Bill Murray on Facebook. But
it's not you.
I.
Steve Martin's on Twitter. I follow him. I read him. It's very good. Do you like Steve?
I haven't seen Steve in a coon's age. He had a funny thing that he did. He used to give people, when people would ask for his autograph, he'd reach in his wallet and he'd hand them a card. And you should find out what it said, but it was pretty much saying, this is just to acknowledge that you met me.
Yeah.
And so on. It's a really funny card. He spends time doing stuff like that.
Will you sign autographs for fans?
Sure.
You will. You're not uptight about that.
Well, I don't. The pros give me the creeps. The guys who show up at a
right, professionals
with lots and lots of things that they've collected.
Yeah.
Jeez, I hate to hang up on you. I had a whole bunch of questions for you about a bunch of different things, but I feel I'm holding you hostage.
That's all right.
Hope you're doing this from bed.
Howard, I want you to see this movie, and then
I will.
You tell me. But this is it's a really beautiful movie. This guy Aaron made a beautiful movie.
The movie's called Get Low. It's available today on DVD and Blu-ray. What are you doing today? What are you going to be doing?
Today,
we playing golf?
Today I might putt a little bit. I won a golf tournament last week in Pebble Beach.
I heard you were excited.
It was fun. Golf, no, today I'm just going to, what I'm going to do? I'm going to try and find that Ghostbusters script. It's over there somewhere.
Yeah, I'll call Ivan and let him know you were reading it.
I have to call him too. Okay.
All right, Bill.
All right, you guys take care.
All right, thank you.
Take the rest of the day off, will you? You work too much.
I know, I'm exhausted.
Okay.
All right, man. Well, I love you, and I appreciate you, and keep on doing what you're doing.
Thanks, Howard.
All right, Bill. Bill Murray.
Bye.
Bye,
the movie is called Get Low. Cut off my own mic. My excitement.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I love that guy.
Oh, such fun to talk to him. He has
I wanted
that demeanor. You never know if he's disgruntled or if he's okay.
I wanted to get into like his relationship with Letterman because he goes on that show.
Yeah.
I want to find out.
Does he not do Leno?
I don't think so.
Oh, that would have been interesting.
Yeah, but I mean, I had him on for an hour just now.
I know. And you got to a lot, but you didn't get to that.
No, and I want to get into.
He wasn't giving up the women.
No, I'll get that out of him. Stevie boy, what's happening, man? Steve Langford from the Howard 100 News. Look at this guy. He loves the news. He's ready to go, frothing at the mouth like a rabid dog. Go ahead, Steve.
Well, whose life are you ruining now?
Yeah,
That's
come on.
what they say.
Ruin some lives.
Just the facts.
Right.
A political shitstorm in Gary Dell'Abate's hometown, the descendant of one of America's foremost feminists, carrying around a bag of feces and hauling it out at meetings, apparently to express her opposition to Dell'Abate's nomination to a local board.
Uh-oh, it's enraged her and put her on fire.
Let me get this right, okay? I heard that the woman, I read the article too. The woman who is against Gary's appointment or questions Gary's appointment got a bag of feces.
She says in her mailbox at home.
So now, instead of throwing out the bag of feces, are you telling me for real she goes to the meetings carrying a smelly bag of feces?
Twice now. Now, she initially said she wanted authorities to investigate this. How do you investigate if you don't have the evidence?
What is her point in carrying the bag of feces? To say that Gary shouldn't be on the board because she got feces in the mail?
Well, look, if the story is true, and there's no reason to suggest that, anybody pulled a stunt here, she has a legitimate grievance here. I mean, clearly somebody...
But it has nothing to do with Gary.
It's a smear campaign, clearly.
Right. What's going on, Gary? It's crazy where you live.
I've been in the cover of my paper like 7 days in a row.
Are you
it's killing me.
kidding?
This woman is tormenting me. So
why don't you just not be on the board?
Because now it's like I'm not stopping.
Right.
I'm not letting her.
Right,
because you know what? The deal is, I don't want to get into the minutia of it, but these appointment boards sort of are advisory only. Like if they said 0 to 12, I still get to go before everybody.
Right.
And I'm pretty confident that when I go in front of the 250 people, that I'm going to win.
Right.
It's like a vocal minority that are up there. But when this thing first happened, when they found the feces in her mailbox, they asked me if I would come to town